The Tigers are on fire. An unthinkable thought only a month and a half ago, but 4 wins out of the last 5. And all of a sudden, the Richmond Football Club is the team on the move. Of course, they won't have it all their own way tonight. The Dockers smacked Port Adelaide by 10 goals last week, their 10th win of the season, consolidating 4th spot. They've won 2 of their last 3 here at Etihad. But curiously enough, they haven't defeated Richmond in Melbourne since way back in 2004. Jared Healy and Lee Colbert casting very keen eyes over proceedings tonight. Now, boys, it might be 15th against 4th on paper, but current form says it's a hell of a lot closer than that.
Yes, it doesn't feel like that. And leading into this match, I reckon Richmond have probably got the better form. The Dockers have lost a couple out of the last month, and they're going to be really tough to beat, the Tigers.
Well, all the experts say, and you guys are the experts, you're back in Richmond.
Well, they are certainly the team on the move, as we said only moments ago. You can hear the crowd roaring as they make their way out onto Etihad Stadium. And it has been a very, very big few weeks for them. A fantastic nail-biting win over Sydney last week. They've won 3 on the trot, 4 of the last 5. They've won 3 of their last 4 against the Dockers by an average margin of 25 points. Jared, take us through the Tigers lineup.
Well, they've made 2 changes, Jason. In comes Webley and Nahas for Cousins and Tambling. But just looking at the possibilities there and knowing that the problems that the Dockers have got with their back line, don't be surprised if they go tall in the forward line. They've got the options, Riewoldt, Griffith and Vickery. I reckon Jackson through the middle of the ground will go to Pavlich. He's been playing more midfield than forward in recent times. And basically their challenge is going to be for the young midfield to work off Aaron Sandilands, celebrating his 150th game.
Been one of the great stories, hasn't he, Jack Riewoldt? He has put all the doubters into complete silence because he's taken his game up a couple of levels in 2010.
And the challenge for them will be, if they do go tour with Griffith and Vickery, not to lose what's really been that funnel effect. Most full forwards like to be the only man down there, and so if there are other 2 options, they don't lose his magic.
Colby, they've been in great form, but it's not the strongest lineup they've presented for a game this year, that's for sure.
Absolutely not, and their outs, we know about Barlow, of course, Grover with a hamstring and 5 for concussion. In comes Ruffles, Subin and Pearce. Lots of holes in their defence. Without Tarrant, without McFarlane or Broughton. We know Barlow, as I mentioned, 5 main up forward, and of course Headland played in the West today, so plenty of holes through that team tonight, and they're going to have to really push hard on in defence, especially on the guys like Riewoldt.
Now, how do you name a bloke at centre-half back the week after he kicked 5 goals? Can someone tell me that?
Well, who knows where this fellow is going to play, but here he is bobbing up. He was in a negative role up forward on the weekend, and yet he got 5 goals last week, but it's just so hard to work out what their placements are going to be with the injuries they're taking in, Colby.
And that's why Richmond are going to go tall, no doubt, at some point. But yeah, Crowley, all 5 goals all in the second half last week, and he was outstanding pushing forward. But you couldn't imagine him playing centre-half back, could you?
You can't imagine it, but given their omissions, you've got Silvani, a kid who was last year playing the VFL on one of the hottest products in the game right now.
Well, as we take a look at some of the key issues that might decide the game, we've spoken about their weak in defence, Colby, and they're going to need help out.
Absolutely, they're going to be pushing numbers back all night, you can imagine, in front of Riewoldt, who they go to 80% of the time. Throw in the other tools as well, so plenty of support for the back end. One
of your favourites is a bloke that you'd like to see spend more time in the midfield, Jerry.
I think somebody's going to have to jump up into that position. We know Pavlich will continue to play there. He's starting to have more game time through the middle, but somebody has to really step up and have a blinder in the middle. The biggest issue for this game today, though, for both sides, is Delidio. Off the half-back, he's been one of the best run and carry players in the game. He'll probably have to deal with a tagger tonight. It may even be Ryan Crowley.
Should be rather interesting, wouldn't it, given the focus we've had on Ryan Crowley to go from kicking 5 goals to then doing a tagging role on Delidio. Although, again, Delidio's been playing a lot off half-back, so it'll be important to stop him controlling the footy as the Tigers push forward. Just about ready to do battle here at Etihad. It's the Tigers and the Dockers, and the first bounce is coming your way right after the break.
Riewoldt, good tackle, brilliantly done by McFarlane.
To the Sandilands, yes! White with pace. Pouncing as Cochin gave it to Foley to goal. Yes, good play, Richmond.
Into Morton, who's very clever, towards Richo. Richo lets it go. Morton kicks a goal.
Welcome back to Etihad Stadium, or welcome if you're joining us for the first time. Toss of the coin, the two captains, Chris Newman, Matthew Pavlich, and Chris Newman will kick left of screen. The Tigers, the hottest team right now of these two, and yet they're 15th on the AFL ladder, Fremantle 4th. We've got a contest here, and one man who's looking forward to it is Lee Colbert. Welcome back, Lee.
Thanks, Dwayne. Well, a big out for Richmond was Tambling with a knee, so he's out of the side. In comes Robin Nahas. Also, Dwayne, have a look at the middle of the ground tonight, because there's a big strip, new turf laid here at Docklands, and that new turf is actually quite slippery. So I see a lot of the Fremantle players wearing just moulded soles, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep their feet, the boys from the west.
Thanks, Lee. And they should know what it's like here. Fremantle, it's in more ways their second home ground than it is Richmond's second home ground. Richmond plays the majority of its home games at the MCG. This is a rare one here at Etihad Stadium, and the Fremantle Dockers have played here 5 times in 2010, and that includes a NAB Cup semi-final. Richmond has only played here once, and that was for a loss. But they come in having won their past 3 games overall, 4 of their past 5, the Tigers. And they've got the hottest full forward in the competition right now to kick to, Jack Riewoldt. And he's already got a bag of 10 against one of the teams from the West this year. And there he is with Silvani as his marker.
No surprise there, and no surprise also to see Ryan Crowley going to Brett Delidio. You suggested that might be the case, Jared. Spot on.
Well, it's a big challenge for Brett Delidio as much as it is for Ryan Crowley, because it will be a hard tag, you'd expect.
Sandilands and Graham go at it. We're underway here at Etihad Stadium. Sandilands on hands and knees. Graham kept his feet, and they get the clearance. Nason Long to half forward. Vickery starting at half forward. Outreach by Ibbotson.
Got to do better than that, Tyrone Vickery. He's miles bigger than Ibbotson, and he just outbodied him and outthought him.
Short Monday having a good season. Midfield, Ballantyne, important role to play for him in the absence of Barlow this week. Wide to Hill, pokes it wider. Kepler Bradley got there, spilt the mark. Newman picks it up to King. Cotchin back to Kelvin Moore.
Danger player is Stephen Hill. We saw him just get a one kick, started in the forward pocket and pushes up into the middle and spreads.
Newman back to Jackson.
Well, it's only early days, but a lot of players running around on their own in space, Jared.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of uncontested footy, you'd expect.
Connors gave it up, might get it back from Delidio. Does. Inboard to Collins.
Lots of extras in defence for the Dockers.
Kelvin Moore, Jackson working inside. Martin, the final kick to full forward. Riewoldt! Oh, he started early.
You can just tell when a player's confidence is sky high, can't you? He attacked the ball from 4 deep, and even though he didn't take it cleanly, he just expected the ball to come back to him at the second grab, and it did.
I reckon there was 4 Dockers around him. The kick was pretty much spot on as best as it could be, but this phenomenon just keeps on rolling on.
Taken in 90 seconds.
Well, it was a Dustin Martin kick that went almost to the perfect spot. Have a look at the defence. They worked it round. Collins did pretty well. And then finally Daniel Jackson gets it to the man who gets it to the top of the square. There's the men around him. There was one in front, one at the behind.
Yep.
And just not enough to stop Jumping Jack. Have a look at him. He's hungry. He thinks every time the ball goes in, he's going to get it. You know what?
He might.
He has been doing it. Daniel Jackson, body on body, in the middle on Matthew Pavlich.
And he has been in good form with his tagging roles as well, Daniel Jackson. 13 tackles he laid last week, which is a record for him. Cotchin through the middle, tackle to the ground. Had his chance to get rid of it, according to the umpire.
They're starting Michael Johnson in the centre as well, so they're going pretty big body.
And a pretty good first game back last week too, Michael Johnson, and he gets this. On 50, tries to sell the dummy, gets away with it. Mundy for the instant reply, misses.
I don't know why he didn't kick it the first time, Michael Johnson. He was streaming towards goal, just tried to overplay it a little bit, and they still had time to kick the goal with Mundy, just not able to finish.
25 possessions in their first game back from the club-imposed drug suspension last week, Michael Johnson, so It's probably only going to get better from there. Robertson, short. Bradley. Too far out to score and knows it.
Putting together a pretty fair year, though, Kepler Bradley.
Absolutely. Crowley. Big fist comes from Kelvin Moore, and he thumped it all the way into the Richmond faithful.
Now, you just think he turns and has the shot for goal. He's got plenty of time to, but he was beautifully corralled there. I thought that was particularly well played by Daniel Connors, and there's the great spoil from Kelvin Moore.
Sandilands. So it's a free to Hill out of nowhere for Stephen Hill, and he can give Fremantle the lead.
You just said it's legal. There's no such thing as a legal block.
Okay.
More than 5 metres.
And there's the umpire talking to Jake King.
No such thing as a legal block. That's an interesting statement.
He tapped on, though, when the ball's outside of 5 metres. But once again, it's allowed to just stand at a stoppage.
To give the Dockers the lead, starts at a little left. And he's got it.
An interesting matchup.
What a surprise, a few of them giving some lip to Jake King and his mates coming in to defend him. There's a little one to the midriff of Ryan Crowley. It's all willing early. Let's have a look at the free kick. He's wrapped up that left arm.
Yeah, it wasn't so much a block, but I think that's probably fair enough. And there's a bit of attention afterwards. Hayden Ballantyne never misses out.
So the Dockers lead by a point, and as you mentioned, Jared, Hayden Ballantyne let Jake King know about it, and he likes to let players know about them. Hayden Ballantyne, Mundy with a clearance. De Boer, one-armed attempt, couldn't mark Pavlich. Just outside 50, floats it wide. Ballantyne, and he might let Thursfield know about that. No, a push. Thursfield's ball.
They are trying to stretch him, though. They've got Vickery now out playing out of the goal square. He's on Ibbotson.
Dangerous kick.
And well played, Newman. He had Sandilands under that a little too easily. Maybe Sandilands played for the free, but he got away with murder there.
I thought he should have marked the ball, Sandilands, Dwayne.
Or at least attempted it. Crowley tries to shuffle it out. Tuck comes out. He'll flick backwards is okay to Mundy from Palmer.
Just dominating through midfield at the present time for the Dockers.
Ibbotson. Everyone gets a chance to take a breath for the first time.
And Mundy, they're playing wide of, and he is just picking up possessions at will. Collins is going to have to get inside his personal space.
Kepler Bradley makes the angle a little tougher and then tries to thread the eye of the needle to Hill.
And a good decision from the umpire.
So you would have thought Sandilands could just put his hands up and mark that. A little bit too easy the way Newman worked him under the ball.
Flick to the back, Weberly, Tuck, Jackson, Asprey, well worked to the wing. Over the head of Riewoldt. Peels back onto it. Boundary line might beat them all. Hayden sees it across. Push and shove with Jack the Ripper, as the Richmond signs say. And the Punt Road faithful enjoying every piece of Jack the Ripper's ripping work this year. Little nudge, Weberly, caught, dispossessed. Get another ball in. Hayden and Morabito having a rest already for Fremantle.
And Jackson's now gone on to Mundy, and Jake King has gone to Pavlich.
Okay.
Don't know that I like that matchup, Jared, to be brutally honest.
You think there's a slight advantage in skill? Hazelby to White. Inboard and perfect. Moore can go. Short chip kick instead. Nahas. Late inclusion in the lineup. Richard Tambling out.
Jeez, he did well there, Duffield. I reckon he pinched at least 1.5 metres.
And that might be the difference for Nahas's little leg. Kicked 3 goals against Fremantle earlier this year. Robin Nahas sits into the goal square. Riewoldt flies. Can't bring it down. Clancy Pearce over it. Almost ripped from him. Ball up. Umpires tonight: Michael Vozzo, Chris Camelons and Simon Meredith. This is Umpire Vozzo in control here, and congratulations to him. It's game 250 for him. Sandilands slaps it out dangerously, and Connors kicks toward goal, and terrible punch. Richmond back in front.
We've seen it happen a little bit in recent weeks. Players just freeing themselves up at the stoppage, and inexplicably the ruckman finds the opposition player that's standing loose in space. You've got to say to Aaron Sandilands, well, where's the structure? Where are you supposed to hit the ball? I wouldn't have thought it's blindly to open space.
So they'll be working on that with the midfield coach, no doubt, throughout the week.
Pavlich is pushed forward.
And the 8-week club-imposed suspension for Daniel Connors might end up being the best thing that's ever happened for him.
Looks like Kel Moore's picking up Pavlich as he goes forward now.
Sandilands just ripped it out of the air himself. Martin went hard, just as hard Mundy. Palmer went hard. They're all going hard at the moment. It's a good game. Mundy got it back again. Crowley, full forward, Pavlich. And the punch illegal. Gee, Thursfield got a good punch in there.
I reckon this is one that Matthew Pavlich should have marked, and he's got very, very lucky. But having said that, at the centre bounce, Kelvin Moore was playing far too far in front of Pavlich. He couldn't get back there in time. That's not a free kick.
Well, what's it for the grab after? Because Thursfield's punch looked legal to me.
Even the grab after wasn't a bad one. That's not a free kick. Very lucky, Matty Pavlich, but he'll make the most of it.
Fremantle back in front.
Well, it was way too easy out of the middle anyway, and that's what they have got to address here, the Tigers. They know they're going to have to road to the opposition. Let's have another look. Yeah, it didn't look to be too much in it, unless it was for the grab behind afterwards. Clearly the punch was absolutely a ripper, and I'm not sure why Matthew Pavlich was taking a chest mark, but one of the reasons he lost it was because he didn't have his hands out grabbing it in front.
A lucky 42nd goal for the season for Matthew Pavlich. Still 12 behind the leader in the race for the Coleman, Jack Riewoldt, who's got one tonight, 54 in total. From the ball up. Oh, that's a good tackle. Palmer threw that away, no free. Edwards extracts it to Webley. Outer side, chips White. Floats it over the top. Nahas took the step to play on. Back to Webley, and wide to Farmer. Centering kick. Chance for Riewoldt. Got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Collins, hero from last week, dribbles it. Edwards, steal, spin, goal!
That's a great finish by Shane Edwards. Terrific awareness around goal. But what I love about Jack Riewoldt is that if he doesn't mark the ball, he brings it to ground. It's a terrific contest. There's the fantastic Cochin tackle on Reece Palmer, middle of the ground. Should have been rewarded, wasn't. Have a look at the contest from Riewoldt. He works his way forward, and if he doesn't mark it, he brings it to ground, and that just puts it in dangerous play. Shane Edwards evades Ibbotson beautifully, and a great snap.
David King gave this bloke a massive rap a couple of weeks ago. Former Richmond coach and, of course, or assistant coach and dual premiership player for the Kangaroos. Thinks he's going to be a terrific player. The problem the Dockers have got at the moment is that the Richmond have gone inside 50 3 times for 3 goals.
Martin, strength to tuck. Another inside 50. Collins is down there. Riewoldt's down there. They ran into each other. Riewoldt dropped it. Silvani, Clancy Pearce short. Play on from Ibbotson. Centering kick. And it travels to Sandilands. Pavlich should run into an open goal here. It's all about the bounce. A little unkind initially. Very unkind. Can you believe that?
How many times out of 1,000 would that happen, Jared?
Well, I would have said none until I saw it actually happen.
Wasted opportunity.
Is that a sign of things to come?
Well, let's hope not, Brian, because that was
Embarrassing.
Freakish.
Is that the gods just saying, well, he got a lucky one earlier, shouldn't have got? They've just evened it up, the footy gods.
Yep.
Edwards inboard, over the head of Cochin. Danger. The ball, little handball out. Sandilands, Palmer, Sandilands, Hayden.
Doing pretty well, just playing as that sweeper across half back is Hayden.
De Boer.
When they're getting it inside
Oh,
450
Jackson
pretty
has
well.
put a Dockers player down.
Ballantyne's down.
So it'll be a 50, and this should be a goal to the Dockers. And reported.
So Daniel Jackson, who has already missed 3 games this year for a headbutt, has been reported again.
So as the umpires have told us, it's 50 metres from where the ball was, so Adam McPhee's got the ball at the present time, and he is pointing and hoping that what he hears is correct. That it'll go down into the goal square or just short of.
We'll try and find the incident for you, but it was behind play. All eyes on McPhee. To give Fremantle back the lead. We know Ballantyne can be annoying. He was fined for pulling Harry O'Brien's hair, and he did some things to Gary Ablett Jr. he didn't enjoy. We'll try and find what Daniel Jackson did to him to get reported. But the bottom line is Fremantle lead by 2 points.
Well, already in the early stages of this match, we're seeing plenty of spirit, a little bit of aggression. And I think it's fair to say that at times Hayden Ballantyne will draw this sort of attention upon himself. He is that little annoying small forward that sometimes defenders take an instant dislike to. Daniel Jackson, I suggest, probably gave him one a little bit low as he was going by, and he now will face the match review panel. We'll see what Ballantyne does when he comes back on.
Jackson goes to a new man Monday. Ballantyne gets his thoughts back together.
Yeah, I think Jackson takes Pavlich when he's on ball, and then Monday when he's not.
Jake King's now with Stephen Hill up on a wing.
Cochin twists out of trouble. Hammers it to half forward. Griffiths went for the big fly, didn't get anywhere near it. And lays a tackle on Hayden without it.
Well, Griffiths has got to get himself involved. He went for a Hollywood fly at the back and then gave away a dumb free kick.
He hasn't had any big possession numbers, being Griffiths, in the 4 games that he's played in, but the 4 games he's played in have all been wins, so that's why he keeps retaining his spot on the team. McPhee to Pavlich. Kelvin Moore with him. Pavlich. It's Cochin's free, and that was off the ball as well
against Morabito. So there's a little bit happening off the ball at the moment.
Been a hot first 16 minutes of this one. Dustin Martin, not a lot to go to. Heads long and wide to the run of King, who uses his speed, gets there but leaves it behind, and taken out by White. 18 plays 20. Ballantyne's okay to come back on. So good news for the Dockers there. Bradley doing some ruck work. Vickery with him. Ibbotson wrapped up by Vickery. Good follow-up tackle after the ruck work. And gone. Didn't try hard enough. So play on. Dustin Martin thumps it wide and out of bounds on the full. Not a lot of prior opportunity there.
I'm not sure what you expect a player to do. I know they want them to be seen to be making some sort of effort, but he didn't have much chance at all.
Yeah, I don't like the old making an attempt call from the umpires as Bradley to Johnson to Crowley. If you had no prior opportunity to me, you've had no prior opportunity. Ballantyne back on. Just pokes it wide. Pavlich. And the bounce eludes him again.
Well, that was a poor kick from Ballantyne. He had Pavlich in space, just needed to chip it to him and couldn't do it on the opposite foot.
Might still be seeing 2 Pavliches, which would be actually a delightful thing to see if you're a Fremantle player. Dustin Martin. King. Martin takes on Hill, takes them all on, loses it. It wasn't tackled as he lost it. King.
He looked like he was taken high.
But because it's Jake King, I don't think he gets those kind of frees.
Just going back about 5 minutes. There we go. That was high.
That's terrible.
I think you're right, Dwayne. I think Jay King has to be decapitated to get a free kick. Head has to actually leave the shoulder.
Pavlich got a handball out. Crowley, Morabito with a half a knee or a shin, but he'll take it.
Excellent goal from Morabito. And the Tigers, I think, just playing a little bit of Hollywood footy at various stages at the moment, particularly around the stoppages. Not a lot of work rate I noticed in Will Thursfield pushing back on Pavlich in the previous contest. And there doesn't appear to be a lot of blokes actually chasing the footy here. A lot of guys on the outside, and Morabito just went straight through the middle.
A little battle to see Anthony Morabito and Dustin Martin go head-to-head there. Morabito picked 4 in last year's draft, and Dustin Martin picked 3. They both look like being long-term players. Graham in the ruck had a piece of it. Mundy likewise. In fact, his second piece was clever. Inside 50, and Newman gets back and takes a very strong and gets a 50.
Now, how can you ping that? Because he was 5 metres laterally from where the mark had been taken, Newman. Now,
swinging onto his left foot.
Correct. Surely that's play on. I know the umpires don't want you to anticipate the whistle, but you've got to cut the bloke slack that is reacting to what the player with the ball is already doing.
So either play on or some leniency for the man on the mark.
Yes.
That's really good checking from Hayden Ballantyne. He put a lot of pressure there on Kelvin Moore and nearly intercepted it.
First field. Connors and trouble, although it bounced kindly. King missed the target. Hill cuts it off. Hazelby. Little sidestep was clever. Floats it to half forward. Newman gets back. Fist clever as well. Delidio, Thursfield almost handed it to him. Webberley.
Pressure kick.
Robertson with the fist. Webberley chases it. Robertson with him. Webberley can use the boundary. He let it go. Van Berlo almost dragged out. Ball stays alive. Great commitment. Ibbotson turned into trouble though. Nason holding the ball. Fremantle free. And the native's getting a little restless here. He's still down, Nason. Palmer thought about handballing to the Richmond runner.
Doesn't look particularly good, Nason.
Pavlich flies. Ballantyne crumbs. Couldn't pluck it. Stays in the middle of 6 of them.
He's very, very wobbly. Ben Nason behind play. He's going to come off. He can't stand. Let's have a look. Exactly where it happens. Maybe his head hits the deck. Yep.
Head slammed into the turf.
I mean, it's a terrific tackle. You can't say it was a malicious tackle.
Pavlich hacked it forward. Sandilands got the play on call and missed.
Not sure what you're thinking, Jason, but to me the Tigers aren't pushing down, helping out their own defence. When the Dockers get it in deep, they almost appear to be outnumbering Richmond at the present time, and they're lucky not to be further behind on the scoreboard.
Ballantyne down again behind play. Riewoldt comes up, makes a contest. Ball out of play.
I reckon you get to a stage in big runs as we take another look at this head whacking onto the pretty tough turf is sometimes you lose your way and you forget what created the succession of wins, and everybody wants to run forward and finish, and nobody wants to run back and help out.
No, that's a fair call.
Tuck Graham was cut off by Johnson. Collins had it but pushed off it. Subin gathers, gives to Palmer. Poke pass, Robertson the target. Bounced for him, Newman came at him. The ball over the top. Pavlich, sidestep, does get the kick away this time and slams it home. They lead by 15.
A little bit of class up forward certainly helps, doesn't it? Matthew Pavlich didn't panic. He found the ball in a little bit of space. He had some traffic to negotiate. Reece Palmer, it was good vision. He just couldn't hit Robertson with the kick, but the fantastic quick hand pass that found De Boer, who got the ball over to Pavlich, and he just negotiated a Richmond defender very easily. Straightened, and he didn't have to kick it around the corner or anything fancy, just a little drop punt.
Ben Nason on the bench, but looks okay. And Fremantle look okay also. Fourth team on the ladder playing like they're fourth. Morabito. Seagull nearly clean bowled by everybody there. Got out of the trouble. So too Palmer. Back to Pearce. Heads wide. Hazelby. Held up a little.
Just looking a little bit too polished around the footy at the present time, with Mundy, Hazelby getting plenty of it, and Pavlich also. Just they've got to neutralise that class element that the Dockers have got more of.
Edwards, fantastic through half back. Handball up. Deledio, wide. Webley. Dustin Martin, good movement this. Long ball, but not, strangely enough, to Riewoldt. Griffiths from 45. Knew he needed to deliver sooner or later. And that's huge.
Well, Jason, looking at him before the game started, you were really excited about his kicking. He just punched it, and that's one he did enormously well. And it was all set up by Shane Edwards, who won the ball at the stoppage.
Yeah, a bit of risk and reward there by really running the ball out of defence, taking on a couple of the Docker forwards, getting through it, and then a fantastic passage of play finished by a brilliant kick from Ben Griffiths. And he needs to do that. If you only get a few opportunities, you've got to make the most of them.
Straight back here, guys.
Talked about Morabito and Dustin Martin picks 3 and 4 in last year's draft. Well, Ben Griffiths picked 19. So some of the stars from last year already making an impact. Jackson, reported earlier if you've joined us late. Vickery, Edwards. Bumps it to half forward. Nahas tried to shrug Van Berlo, and he almost pile drove him into the deck. Wins the free.
That was a good call from the umpire, because, as you correctly said, Dwayne Nahas lifted the arms up, tried to get around him, took him on.
Palmer, McPhee, Ibbotson. Morabito.
They are moving the ball back into the corridor really well at this stage, the Dockers.
Sits it up in hope. Pavlich can't get a jump at it. Edwards read it beautifully off hands.
Jackson. Well, he is improving as a player.
And good to see Nason back on and okay. And spears that pass beautifully to White, who thought about getting and going. Does. Jackson looks up. Collins, last week's hero, centering kick. Griffiths flies, can't mark. Hits the deck. Tackle late by Riewoldt, superb. Likewise Griffiths. Duffield, he shrugged one, shrugged the second. Crowd want ball, they don't get it.
Well, it was put under some severe examination there, the umpire's strength, because the Tiger roar just continued to get louder.
Yeah, but if he doesn't dispose of the ball after shaking one tackle and then trying to shake another, should that be holding the ball, Jeff?
Well, did he ever get prior opportunity?
Well, do you get prior opportunity after you shake the one?
Correct.
Well, so then you just got to throw it up in the air.
Just get rid of it.
We need that clarified, don't we? If you have 4 tackles come at you in a row, have you ever had prior opportunity? I wouldn't mind getting the umpires to tell us which way they see that. Mundy inboard. Subin. Chased down by Webley, got the kick away, and Crowley, coming off a 5-goal game last week, would line up confidently from 50.
Well, this is working for them. Crowley now going for his second goal. Lined up on their number 1 attack player from half-back in Deledio, and they are, every time they see him, they're whacking it to him. He's going for his first, is it?
That's what he has ahead of him. Starts it nicely and bends that back superbly. Touched on the line and almost, but not quite.
This was a good tackle on the last line, wasn't it?
Well, Ruffles thought he was going to kick that. I'm sure he did. Lidio, in fact it's Cochin. It's back again. Asprey.
He's got free here, Deledio.
Newman. Deledio.
That's
and
why
now Kelvin Moore.
That's a release kick if you've ever seen one.
Kelvin Moore runs the outer side. Thumps a long ball. King got a couple to beat here. Tried to drag it down. Ibbotson won the crumb. Strange to go to King in a marking contest.
Yeah, I think that's the one issue. It was fantastic play, the good release kick from Deledio, but the long kick forward shouldn't be going to a Jake King one-on-one contest.
And that's a strange kick as well. Mundy to Farmer. Gee, that's an unlucky 50.
How can that be 50?
That's sad.
I mean, the Fremantle player is on his way to stand the mark. The Richmond player runs into him, initiates the collision. You can see it's intended for the Docker. All he does is absorb the contact. How can that be 50? Do you want him to jump out of the way? It's not like he's retarding him.
Mitch Farmer hit the crucial goal last week against Sydney. Tougher kick this from outside 50 and hits the post.
Was either going to hit that post or the moving one. Because Aaron Sandilands was just under it. Yeah, it was an interesting one, Jason. It looked as if both contributed to the contact.
Hayden with the kick in, 3 minutes from quarter time. It's been a splendid opening term from these two. Silvani.
You just hope we don't get to the stage where players literally have to jump out of the way to not give away a free kick.
Thursfield with the punch on Bradley. Newman gave it up. Mundy dragged across the line and will get a ball in, playing in the midfield and playing superbly. David Mundy averaging 4 clearances per game. Side by side with Trent Cotchin for this ball in. Flicked down by Vickery. Morabito beaten for it by Edwards. Thrown off. It didn't have it. Crowd roar their approval. Edwards toward Vickery. Is he within range? Plays on. Runs to 48. Wobbles it and Riewoldt was down there. Collins!
He's a really smart player, this kid. He gets to the floor of the ball like he's a rover, and yet he's got strength, and at some stage we'll see him play midfield, I reckon. But he's also got some height. Good execution there by the captain, just pointing out Vickery. He's got to do a bit of work on his kicking, Tyrone Vickery. We saw him also prior to the match, and he just doesn't kick it in the middle of the ball. So he hasn't got a penetrating kick. Great roving.
Collins gets a rest for his trouble. Ty Vickery doesn't work on his kicking all that much during games though, Jared. He only had 2 last week. He doesn't get a lot.
Well, you'd hope he's working on it at training.
You would. But he does handball well and he rucks well, and that's what they're looking for from him, just growth in that area. 3 points the margin. 2 minutes from quarter time. White wins it. Nason looks up. Riewoldt points long. Griffiths, can he get there to go? Brilliant mark, McPhee, front spot.
Jeez, it was a great grab.
Pearce under pressure, and that was a good grab as well. Palmer, not such a good grab. Griffiths, that's not such a good pickup either. Hayden, Mundy, a couple of fumbles, and Palmer through the midfield. And Sandilands with the height, and that wasn't a good grab either. Crowley back at the pack, and that wasn't a great kick off the deck. Well, wipe that last minute of play off.
Wasn't a great passage of play, Dwayne. What we have got, though, is an extremely entertaining first quarter of football, 5 goals apiece. I don't think you can complain about the style of football that's being played. There's
something about the goal square at that end right of screen. There has been 3 incredible misses inside the goal square.
Well, Lee Colbert did tell us that there might be a bit of inconsistency in bounce
on the new turf
to the old turf here, and he might be spot on, Lee Colbert. Dustin Martin, Daniel Jackson, clever punch from Hill. Jackson wins out. Boundary line is his friend.
Well, it wasn't that bad a hand pass. He was anticipating which way Deledio was going to go, and in the end, Deledio went one way, the hand pass went the other.
Mark Harvey had some strong words to say about the Coaches Association today, saying they should have shown more support for his colleague Mark Williams. Daniel Jackson, long bomb, Griffiths down there, McPhee, Griffiths with a little reach. Nahas, Duffield, no free, and that's not a free either. It hit the line. We'll get a ball in 26 seconds from quarter time. Both coaches coaching from the bench right now. Yeah, well played by Duffield. Back into play. danger here for the Dockers, although that looked almost off the boot of Nahas. We'll get another ball in. If you joined us late, Tambling out, Nahas in the late change for Richmond. Graham, the palm down. Cochin couldn't grab it. Tuck does. Dustin Martin driven to the deck and from the side. Edwards, clever. Palmer just as good. Pavlich. Might not be time enough for a mark inside 50 here. Robertson puts it on the boot. Valentine was waiting for it.
It's one of those quarters, Hayden Valentine, just 2 touches. Hasn't got near it.
But an awesome opening term for this contest. Forget where they are on the ladder. It's on. 5-5, plays 5-1. Fremantle by 4 points. Quarter time at Etihad Stadium. Fremantle by 4 points, 5-5-35 to Richmond 5-1-31. Matthew Pavlich a couple for the Dockers, who've started well, started like the 4th team on the ladder, playing 15th as we head downstairs. Lee Colbert.
Danny would have been pleased with that first half. He went inside 56 times and 12 times and scored 6 times.
Yeah, the reality is we knew if we got it inside 50 against them, there would be a chance of scoring with some of their key players out. Unfortunately, we probably haven't got in there enough at this stage. We're aiming for 15 or 16 a quarter, so the aim is to get in there probably a few more times this quarter.
The Freo defenders dropping off. You mentioned Hayden, also Duffield. They're very good at it.
Absolutely. They create run from their defensive half, and they've obviously had a mindset of trying to release those 2 blokes, so we're obviously going to go with Hayden this quarter with King and try and equalise numbers inside 50 and hopefully get some scoreboard pressure against them.
Thanks for your time, mate. But Riewoldt, I tell you what, you appreciate how good he is when the ball's in there, because he does a power of work.
Yeah, a couple of goals this quarter will be handy from him, so we'll see how we go, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
It certainly would be. As we take a look at some of the match stats, it was interesting, the inside 50s, they scored 6 times from 12 inside 50s, but conversely, Jared, 17 inside 50s for the Dockers, and they scored 10 times, which is an even better ratio.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard's flattering Richmond at the present time. Fremantle missed 3 goals that they should have swallowed, all within 5 metres of the goal square. And I think that the problem is that they are getting that run from Roger Hayden across. They're also just centering the ball into the squares, into the corridor really well. Mundy's been on the end of it a couple of times, and just a bit concerned, Jason, that they've lost their way a little bit with Riewoldt with the extra targets down there. Vickery hasn't really presented too many options, and Griffiths kicked one really good one, but
It's the only time he touched it.
he hasn't had much impact at the moment, and I'm not sure they're adding enough to the run and chase from behind. In fact, I'm sure that they're part of the problem. They need to get on their bike and start dragging down a few blokes like a Roger Hayden.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's been disappointing from a Tigers perspective is with all the attention on Riewoldt, there have to be some other loose targets that should be easy options going into the attacking 50.
Second term kind of underway. It favoured Sandilands and wasn't called back. Weberly hacks it high, and with the reach, Sandilands easily. Morabito. It's the first attack, and Pavlich might go for goal. From 60, floats it, goal square, Kepler Bradley plays on and nearly missed, but he got it. They lead by 10.
Not a bad way to start a quarter when you get a goal in the first 22 seconds. And big Aaron Sandilands just standing tall in the middle of the ground. Poor old Shane Edwards had the effort, or the unattainable effort of trying to jump over him to spoil. He just couldn't get anywhere near it, unfortunately. And then Pavlich was always going to unload the long one.
Not sure how this ended up in a 3-on-2 though. Somebody wasn't working back hard enough, and that's been one of their problems right from the first minute of the match.
Jared mentioned earlier how good a season Kepler Bradley's having. 7th season of AFL, still only 24 years of age. So there might be still an enormous career ahead of Kepler Bradley if he can keep the graph going in the direction that it's going. Martin lost it. Subin likewise had a piece of it. Mundy lays the tackle, ball up.
Well, we heard that Daniel Jass got reported in the first term. I think, Lee Colbert, you've got the details of that report.
Spoke to the emergency umpire. Rough conduct he's been reported for, so a good old-fashioned shirt front off the ball, Jason.
Thanks, Colby.
Delidio, Graham, and on cue, Daniel Jackson. Heads long, Riewoldt, 2 to beat. Got a hand to it, knocked it down, back of the pack. Collins almost raked it in. Jake King got it, gives it up. Nahas shoots it back. Jeremy Weberly, cleverly, wonderfully.
Well, it was excellent. Unselfish team play from a couple of players, notably, I think it was Robbie Nahas that unloaded the last ball, but he is just drawing 2 or 3 players, Riewoldt there. As you said, Jason, there are frees everywhere, and that was a smart little handball you saw. Webley, he's having a pretty good game off the wing, and he pushed in hard to support, and in the end he got on the end of a nice little one and converted well.
First goal of AFL footy for Jeremy Webley in game number 6.
He mightn't be going to kick a bag of goals tonight, Jack Riewoldt, but everything he does is contributing to their score. He competed 1 against 2, then followed up with a tackle that brought the ball to ground, so worth his weight in gold.
Cotchin, you heard the call, touch play on Hayden. Well, he had his prior opportunity, did he? Ball knocked out in the tackle. Gee. Well, I think the silence tells the story here.
Well, he did say the ball knocked out of his hands, but you didn't see it. Well, how's he supposed to do anything other than tackle the bloke?
But his tackle was...
That was what spilled the ball.
It was almost holding the ball. Leap from Kepler Bradley. Can't mark it. Ball hits the deck and he goes back and gets it again. Crowley, little fumble. Cotchin dives in, he's over it, and...
He'll get pinged here.
No, surely not. No, please, please!
Well, he dived in on the ball.
But he wasn't on it. There was 2 players laying on their side with the ball between them. Crowley to have the shot.
But getting amongst the goals, or the opportunities to get amongst the goals, wasn't he? They both dived on it.
It's 2 players side by side with the ball.
That's a tough one, I reckon.
Crowley lines up and...
The footy gods are with us again.
Well, it's nice and cosy in here under the roof of the dome. Where else would they want to be tonight?
This is the one that we heard the umpire say it spilled free and you kept hanging on to him. Perhaps he didn't have prior opportunity to dispose of it. That's why it wasn't holding the ball.
I reckon the Tigers have to ask the question about how loose Pavlich and Stephen Hill are and how much latitude they're getting.
Yep.
And Stephen Hill is yet to wreak a hell of a lot of damage, but he will if he's given enough opportunity.
Graham.
There he is there, Stephen Hill. No one on him.
So Sandilands, Pavlich, Hill, the big guns combining. Sandilands back again. Got to kick the roll between Webley's legs. Edwards clever, gives to White. Short pass, Collins.
Oh, he lost it, I think.
He did, in the lights or somewhere. It wouldn't have been the sun. Van Berlo. Johnson rolled it through legs. White goes back in. Caught a little high. Only a little high, though.
Let's have a look at Andrew Collins. He must lose this in the lights. All of a sudden he goes, oh, where is it? And puts up one hand very late.
He's on it, yeah.
But he followed it up.
Mark's here. Chris, take your man with you, mate. Chris, take your man with you. Roddy, you're right on it there.
This for the lead. Richmond led early. Fremantle pushed their way out to a 15-point lead in the opening term. This for the Tigers to grab it back. Strikes it nicely. Touched on the line. No Richmond player on the line.
No, it's good defence from the Dockers. But you just have to admire the way Matthew White has built it on his career. Struggled to get in the side earlier in the year, but geez, his work rate superb.
Oh, how's the kick?
Straight down the middle to Hill.
Funnily enough, on his own, Jared.
And so's Ballantyne. And he fumbles it. And trouble. Has some time to go back and get it. Still got numbers to go to.
Gee, butchered that.
He missed them all. Dustin Martin back. Kelvin Moore. All the way back. Thursfield. More trouble again here.
Handball from Thursfield.
Wrapped up. He did get a handball out. Farmer. Thursfield. Dustin Martin. Clever.
He's the one to give it to. He makes great decisions for a kid.
Graham. Asprey. Thursfield. Still under siege. Now the release kick. Webley from half back.
If you can break a line there, you should be away because the Dockers pushed a lot of people up into the forward line.
Kick to a 1-on-2.
And that's a shoulder pop, I think. That's trouble here.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a shoulder pop with that spoil.
Griffiths.
And he's in a huge amount of pain at the moment, Ben Griffiths. See here, the shoulder.
Oh,
bang.
yeah.
Well, that is the dislocating position when your arm is extended and outstretched. And you saw there McPhee came over and actually pushed the shoulder joint, and then it just pops out, bang.
And it's the good shoulder. It's not the one that's strapped. It's the one unstrapped, which gives you the indication he's got shoulder problems.
It doesn't look dislocated.
Does it look like it's gone back in there, Jared?
Well, maybe it didn't go all the way out at the time. Might have just sublux, but it was really dangerous.
And the subluxation is the pop out straight back in, Mr. Physio, is that correct?
Well, it doesn't go all the way out.
Okay. Dustin Martin shrugs another attempted tackle, thumps it long. Collins with a couple to beat. McPhee.
Just not quite making all the right decisions, the Tigers.
Can't question most of their work rate.
No.
But you're right, going inside 50 has been a worry.
Mason, good fist. Knocked it down to Farmer.
Kick.
Newman. And straight through the hands of Collins. But we can't let him blame the lights for that one. We gave him the out early, but we can't give him the out for that.
You couldn't kick it any better than Chris Newman delivered that one. It was a superb kick.
McPhee to Hayden. Duffield. Palmer. Is it over the line? It is. Out of play on the full.
Dude, we've seen it a couple of times already tonight, Jared. Dustin Martin, we speak about how good a player he is. I reckon he's got the best fend I've seen in the game. His ability to push off a tackler and keep going is unbelievable.
He could get the most votes in the NAB Rising Star Award this year, Dustin Martin, but he's not allowed to win it. Has been reported.
And that'll be a shame.
To Kelvin Moore.
Got one out on the wing here, the Tigers.
They have. Now Nahas peels off for the handball. Cochin goes inboard. Centering kick. Riewoldt. Hand to it. Couldn't mark it. Hayden. Ibbotson.
They're just all sitting there waiting at the present time, the Dockers.
Deledio. Brilliant there. Runs to 50. Can he finish? Bouncing ball. Behind.
Jeez, he showed some toe there. I don't think Ryan Crowley would have been...
Couldn't go with him. Have a look at Crowley. I reckon Crowley was close to doing a string, trying to actually keep up with him.
Coming off a 28 possession game last week, Brett Deledio, and he's been in hot form.
Starting to get a little bit of it, Stephen Hill, Jared.
Yeah, I think David Asprey, if he is the one who's been given the charge, needs to have a good look at himself.
Ruffles to Sandilands to Hazelby, maybe a little too clever.
Gee, did they torch the footy then? It was an absolutely dreadful kick coming in from Ruffles. He had Sandilands on his own. The ball bounced, he tapped it to Hazelby, and he just rushed it. The goal gone begging for the Dockers.
Weberly to Tuck.
I reckon that's 4 they've missed within 3 metres of the goal.
Silvani, well played on Riewoldt that time.
He's just getting sucked up the ground at the present time, Jack, and Silvani doing a good job.
Silvani in trouble here. Lays a tackle on Riewoldt. Shuffles it out. Palmer cleans it up, but the handball missed. Jackson slips that up. White, high bomb.
3 on 1.
Riewoldt's the one. Goes, makes a spoil. Duffield back of the pack. He just dropped that at his own feet. Graham, bang, and he's hurt. Graham's gone down. He might either be concussed or have done a shoulder as well.
I thought it was a good bump in the side, actually. My first reaction.
Carney's behind. They're 3 down, the Tigers.
So they're playing with, 15 men?
15 men. There's 3 on the floor.
You'd think Fremantle would get a goal here, surely.
3 on the deck within 5 metres of each other.
Hazelby, well, they've got the power play, Fremantle. Surely they'll finish this in a goal.
Have a look at this. They're just spread like 9 pins on the ground. That's the second one Nations cocked tonight, so you've got to think he's probably going to struggle to get back into this game. Have a look at the bump here. There's nothing wrong with that bump. That gets him in the ribs.
And he brings it back and it clips the post. Just.
They can't buy a goal at the moment, the Dockers.
Oh, he's in all sorts.
So Ben Nason split. Now they have to stop the game for this blood rule. Surely. The umpire's seen the blood. And there's the whistle. So they'll stop the play here until he comes off.
It was a classic.
His own teammate.
Oh, Jake King. That's a nasty one. It's hard enough when you're getting cleaned up by opposition players. You don't need friendly fire.
Geez, it must be busy down there, Colby.
It is now. That was shocking to watch, actually. Yeah. He's in a fair bit of trouble, Benny Nason. So he'll need stitches on that eye.
Stitches or staples, Jerry?
Either or, but I reckon that close to the eye. What do they use at the moment?
You're the physio.
Here's the hip and shoulder on Graham. Yeah, that's a great hip and shoulder.
When I was a physio, they weren't using staples, and that was a long time ago.
I was still using catgut then, wasn't that, Jared?
Fishing line, yeah.
Asprey.
Actually, I was amazed when they introduced antiseptic. It was really good.
Yeah, just a stick in your days. Kelvin Moore, back pocket. So Richmond finally back to a full complement of 18. Even though I'm talking on the field, off the field, they've only got one man that they can interchange at the moment, Newman. Took the step to play on, Palmer came at him, touched play on, Jackson just gets the kick away in time. Cochin can get and go, and he could go all the way. Takes some time, and clever to King.
Now what Jay King has to do. Okay, that's all right.
Nahas.
When you're playing that defensive forward role, you get one or two, maybe three opportunities a game when you can kick goals or make goals. Now, he's contributed, as long as Nahas doesn't let him down, he's contributed to the score here. But those defensive forwards need to hurt the opposition by contributing to goals.
I reckon most Tiger supporters will be pretty pleased that it's in his hands. He's generally a really reliable kick. Not sure Cochin was that smart game to Jake. I reckon he was in a position to have a shot. But King has set it up straight down the corridor.
On the new turf.
Yes, they've rolled out the green carpet for him.
2 metres. That's it.
And he doesn't kick the goal that he should have kicked. Nahas.
A late inclusion, Robin Nahas. He's had to fight his way back into this side, and he won't want to miss too many opportunities like that.
Head down to Colby shortly to get an update on those injured players. Duffield thumps it long. Deledio from 3 deep. Holding free, it's against Edwards. What's the situation down there, Colby?
Angus Graham complaining about his ribs to the doctor, but I think he'll be okay of the three. Nason's down getting some stitches, as you can see right now, and also Griffiths, he's got ice on his right shoulder.
Good work, Lee. Thank you. McPhee along the boundary line. Johnson couldn't get a jump at it. Pavlich was flat-footed, and Hill almost dragged that out. Edwards kept it alive and gave it back to Hill. Half man handled. Mundy or Hill was bumped high and wins himself a free.
Surprising down here, boys, to see Hill run around on his own most of this quarter. And I say on his own, he's just playing wide of their opponent, as you picked up, Jared.
Called to play on. Stephen Hill not a lot to go to. Sets it up for Kepler Bradley to go, and Thursford just bumped him under the ball a little, and Ballantyne stripped out of play.
Well, Shane Edwards is with him right now, Colby, so we'll just follow it. There's not that long to go in this half, but there's certainly enough time for some damage.
Bradley, the little flick back to Pavlich, went between his legs, he shuffles it out. Dustin Martin gets past the tackle again. Collins, Martin, trouble, and there he goes, he shrugs them all. Collins over the top and they're away. Farmer thought about the long kick, got it back again. Chip kick, not good, and White wins a free. Weberley plays onto advantage, he won't be allowed.
Well, that in fact is a poor decision to go on, because having to take the ball now gives them heaps of opportunity, the Dockers, to get their 18-man defence going, as you can see there.
Newman got it from White, gives it to King. Dockers, just about every player back now for this long kick. Riewoldt doesn't get a jump out. Asprey, well, he drifted forward.
He did it really well. He just went hard at the footy.
No one from the Dockers flew in the end.
I think they are so conscious about Jack Riewoldt that everyone has half an eye on where he is, and they lose the footy.
I'm not sure if Asprey's still playing in the back pocket or whether he's been sent forward with Griffiths off, but I think it was a surprise to most that he was the man they went to.
Yeah, I know. We've got a lot to try and...
He's kicked 4 goals for this year.
3 minutes, Paul.
David Asprey.
Yeah, that's it.
Richmond back in front.
Well, I think with the omissions from the Dockers, this was always going to be a game that the Tigers could win. And at various stages early in the first quarter, the Dockers looked as if they could blow the game open pretty early in the piece, but one thing that's been a characteristic of their winning run has been the work rate, and they haven't given up, and they've just created opportunities, grabbed some goals from somewhere, been aided and abetted by some poor kicking by the Dockers, and now they have the lead with half-time in their sights.
Did kick 3 goals against Melbourne earlier this year. David Asprey, when he was played for the majority of the game forward. He cracked the 20 possession barrier for the first time in his career last week against Sydney. So his form is continuing to improve this season. Good size too, isn't he?
He's a couple of centimetres on Adam McPhee, who's a pretty big bodied guy, as we know.
18 minutes gone, second term. And the ball up, Hill, free and running, kick smothered though. Still a chance here, Ballantyne, Pavlich from 40, tackled on the kick, but good enough. He's got 3.
Well, they had an extra player at that stoppage. The Tigers dropped 1 extra back, and you'll just see how the extra man helps. There he is, Hill.
Yep.
I mean, you just don't let this bloke go. As much as the Tigers are getting some benefit out of Shane Jackson, this kid can rip the guts out of any team. Extra player behind the ball doesn't work. Not when your stoppage is so important.
Seventh lead change in this game.
It's a point of a lot of debate whether you have an extra one at the stoppage or an extra one behind the play. Mitch Farmer dropped off him and sent Brett Deledio up, who drew Crowley with him, but Deledio then lost contact with the extra man Hill at the stoppage, and that cost him.
Pavlich shuffled off that ball. Dustin Martin gets through a couple again. Graham, handball smothered, goes back and shepherds for Tuck, who collects and kicks wide. Opportunity for Edwards. He's got 3 to beat. Lays a tackle on Hayden. McPhee pursued by Nahas. Riewoldt getting back to make a contest. Silvani.
Superb kick from McPhee, that one. That had to be spot on. Mundy coming off in a bit of difficulty.
Hugs the boundary to the outer side. Ruffles. Handball back inboard. Johnson. Sandilands.
Got the overlap player again because there's a loose man in defence. That's the loose man. He was sitting 30 metres behind it, Will Thursfield.
Hill wide, and they've wasted that.
Strange kick from Stephen Hill. Any word on David Mundy, Colby?
Tackled in the middle of the ground, Jason, and it's his right calf. So just complaining whether it was a knock or he's actually done some more damage.
He's got a bit of a limp up.
Weberly, dangerous kick. A good kick, Newman. Tuck. About to tick into time on second term. Fremantle back in front by 4 points. They led in the opening term by as much as 15. Newman, wide ball. They've got the loose man, Connors. The loose man was Graham. He's ignored. White bounced off his chest. Hill, Graham runs into a gang tackle. No prior opportunity there, you wouldn't think. Still under him. And White dives in. Now it's under Hill. Now it's under Graham. Now it's umpire Vozzo's ball.
Let's have a look at that tackle that David Mundy's involved in. He's on his legs.
Oh, yeah.
Just gets up and he's very proppy after that. Doing a little bit of work on it now. Just stretching the calf.
Sandilands to Subin. Morabito. Sandilands, he spent that before he earned it. Newman attacked it nicely. Gave to Graham. Collins dump. Play on advantage. Newman goes. Thinks about the long. Goes for the short. Riewoldt.
Well, Chris Newman has to be one of the best kicks in the game. You'd just love to be running out to him, Jason. He spears it on chests like few others at Tigerland. Very reliable. Jack Riewoldt will be thrilled to see Newman coming forward with the kick.
Kick 1 in the opening term. From the paint, that's a horror kick.
Well, one beautiful kick, followed up by one shocking kick. But you'd love to have Chris Newman delivering the ball into your attacking 50 every time.
A long bomb to Sandilands. Couldn't get the jump at it, but gathered the crumb from it. McPhee, Hill, they're away again. The wide ball is an okay ball to Johnson. Moore comes at him, floats it to Ruffles. Takes the mark in the pocket. He's got runners, but he needs to go back and kick the goal. Hasn't played a lot of footy lately. First game of the season, first since round 17 last year.
What's he like as a set shot, Dwayne?
Superb, Jason.
You'd know.
He's got a couple of career goals, but his career is only, well, now 4 games old.
Half a metre in front of you, mate.
Hurt the knee and has been out since then. Tim Ruffles. Across the face.
I don't know that I would put that in the superb bracket.
No, I wouldn't probably put it in the
room for
superb.
improvement.
Colby, I'd like your thoughts on the use of Calvin Moore. I know he's playing in a zone in various stages, but it's just not working. They are kicking the ball around him.
Yeah, exactly, and I think certainly Fremantle know that there's an advantage there if they can get Pavlich forward, and as you said, Calvin Moore's not having any influence on the game.
And Ruffles was 30 metres on the boundary line. We saw where he took the kick from, and Calvin Moore was sitting there in the zone.
Robertson.
It's a great flexibility to have, though, Kepler. I mean, at stages he's played on Matthew Pavlich as a defender. On other stages he's played on Hayden Ballantyne. Completely opposite types of
But I think what you're saying is he plays well
One-on-one.
when he's on someone.
Silvani with the torpedo. Hazelby almost made something of it. Still might. Connors. Weberly. Farmer. Edwards.
Risky.
Dustin Martin, as you said, the right man to give it to, although Vickery tackled and dragged down by De Boer, and now Palmer. Ball up. Fremantle by 5 points.
Not much he could do there, Tyrone Vickery, besieged by 2 or 3 Dockers players. Daniel Jackson, Dustin Martin leading the way, all possession getters with 15 each.
Sandilands, magnificent to Kepler Bradley. That is as good as it gets from a ruckman to a rover.
Even a ruckman to a ruckman.
Yeah.
But the way they set up, it was there for everyone to see. He was always going to go there. They fell for the 2-card trick here. Richmond, look at the gap in front. There it is, just sneaks it into that hole. He's too smart there, Kepler. He knew he was going there every day of the week. And his man, Dustin Martin, he's on his wrong side.
And he was ball watching.
Jimmy Hurd and Mike Sheen will be right on top of him.
Yeah.
2 goals to Kepler Bradley. Aaron Sandilands, numbers-wise, having arguably his best season ever.
And Kepler Bradley really has reinvented himself this year. He's become a relevant player again.
And game 150 for Aaron Sandilands, and it's going to plan at the moment. De Boer hacks it wide. That kick not really to plan. No one there. Weberly pursues it. And the ball just sat up and made him run hard, and then tantalisingly rolled out of play. Nason on the bench. Griffiths also doesn't like that shoulder's in good nick at the moment. So that could be trouble for the Tigers.
That was better than by Farmer. That was brilliant pickup, and electric handball would set this up.
Nahas could have gone all the way himself. Asprey inboard. Collins, good tackle by Hayden. Not rewarded though. Edwards got it up. Robertson twisted out of trouble. Pearce, and they're away. Pavlich looks up. It's his ball. He's got to go. Well played, Connors.
She's really well played.
Inboard and they're away again. Vickery. No one to go to. He gives it to Connors, who slipped on that newly laid turf. Another don't argue. Dustin Martin bounces it inside 50. Hayden, magnificent again. Subin turns King inside out. Bangs it long. Ballantyne.
Pavlich is on here.
Made it tough for Pavlich. Made it impossible for Pavlich. Farmer to Cochin. On the rebound, the Tigers a chance. Riewoldt. Crunched by Silvani. You got a fist on the ball though. No free. Hayden. Silvani a good shepherd. Heads wide. Johnson bouncing ball. Gets there. Collects. Little dance step. Subin. Good game to watch at the moment, although those kind of turnovers not all that great. Farmer. So see if Kelvin Moore here can set this up. Delidio's given him the opportunity and then called for a back again. Tuck. The open side. Connors.
Got a loose man. Ignores him.
And tries to spear that through Newman. Hayden. Palmer. And hunted down by Nahas. Did he drop it? Dustin Martin picks it up. Crowd wanted a free. They don't get it. Riewoldt almost the crumb. And it beats him out of play. Put it up in the air, he tells them.
Well, I think the reason it wasn't paid a free kick is because he doesn't hang on to him.
Yeah,
he
fair.
slips off him.
I think Jack Riewoldt's got a fair point, though. That's a couple of times now we've seen Dustin Martin just spear the ball, and he wants it in the air. That's where his strength is.
McPhee threaded that handball through to Robertson nicely. Johnson flies. Connors just as desperate. Johnson's down hurt. Taken late. Crowd want ball, and on his back. There's the new interpretation.
I reckon they need a goal here. They've been working really hard, the Tigers, for the last 5 minutes, and yet haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard. If it's the Dockers that get the next one, then they've got a pretty fair break at half-time.
Well, they've only got 16 seconds, and the way they're feeding it backwards to Clancy Pearce, they'll be content to go in with an 11-point lead. The boos from the Richmond fans. Now, the umpires have brought this down. It's a long down-the-field free kick. The clock stops. There's a chance here. They've dumped it long. They get a mark from this. They'll have the shot. Sandilands flies. Mass confusion. And the fans even angrier. 11 points the margin. Fremantle lead. 8-9-57. Richmond 7-4. 46.
Half-time at Etihad Stadium. The Tigers looking for their 5th win in 6 weeks. Have some work to do. 11 points they trail the Dockers by. 7-4-46 the Tigers. 8-9-57 the Dockers. The multiple goal scorers on the ground. Pavlich with 3 and Bradley with 2 for the Dockers. Well, it's been an interesting match to say the least in the first half. It's been open. There's been plenty of toing and froing. Lots of players on their own. A little bit of torching of the football, Jared, but a pretty exciting first half.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing whether Richmond can continue their work rate. They've been going hard now for the best part of a month and a half. The Dockers, I think, have just tailed off their form a bit, but they came over with basically having to reconstruct their back line. They've done it pretty well. In fact, I think they'd be delighted with the way that Silvani's gone on Riewoldt at this stage.
It's interesting watching them, particularly early, Jared. They tried to use the centre corridor, didn't they?
They did. They came inboard a lot of times. I think Mundy was always looking, and he was always down that centre corridor. That was one that Reece Palmer should have swallowed. Not a great performance by Griffiths. Needed to keep his eyes a little bit harder on the footy. But there's Mundy. Every time he gets it, he likes that centre strip.
And they certainly made the most of it, although, unfortunately, whilst they created a lot of scoring opportunities, they didn't always finish them. One thing we have seen tonight, a lot of heavy collisions. Yeah. I mean, it has been a physical game. Players have gone hard at it, eyes on the footy, and sometimes the peripheral vision might have let one or two of them down. There's been players going down through opposition clashes. This is a heavy tackle. I don't think it's a slam tackle, but it remains to be seen whether it gets looked at. A bit of friendly fire there. A head clash between Nason and Jay King. He's got a couple of them, being Nason.
Yeah, he's had a bad night for head clashes. He's got multiples. He's off. We know he was getting stitched up with the catgut, Jason. And unfortunately, he hasn't come back out on the ground. We suspect he'll be right, though, in the second half. But it's been open. But at the same time, there have been some pretty dangerous heavy knocks.
Yeah, Angus Graham copying a big bump there from Adam McPhee. One player we highlighted part of the game was Brett Deledio from both sides' perspectives. Important for Richmond. The Dockers need to stop him. They assigned Ryan Crowley the job. How'd you see his first half?
I thought he was slow to get into the match. I thought Crowley did well, but particularly in this second quarter, I thought he started to get plenty of footy, and he's got such a good leg on him. He releases so many and sets up so often across that half-back line. Right now, I think it's probably line ball as to who's winning, but if the Tigers are to win, then he's going to have to really be a dominant player, I think, in that second half. This is one he could have gone for goal, but I think it was just an errant kick going to Nason that just didn't quite hit the target.
Well, he used his pace there to burn off Ryan Crowley. Now, Crowley stuck to his guns. He had the opportunity to kick a couple of goals in the first half. One was touched on the line. One was a really bad miss from in pretty close. But he's been constructive as well for the Dockers.
Yeah, I think they'd be pleased with his performance. As you said, he's missed a couple of opportunities. In fact, The Dockers have missed 3 goals from so close it's almost been laughable. In fact, you were laughing. But they have got themselves back in the lead, and there's that one from Ryan Crowley that he knows he should have grabbed it. In fact, he probably should have grabbed it in his hands and still kicked it.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned some of those misses. We've been almost in shock looking at some of them. It's inexplicable at times. You work so hard to create opportunities. I mean, Matty Pavlich would never do this in a fit. That wasn't the turf, that was Matthew Pavlich.
He had the wheels spinning a little bit, but he might need to do a few stretches. He just looked a little bit stiff getting over there. Here's another one from Crowley, as we saw it just before, off the ground. I mean, that was just a bit of Hollywood stuff there from Ryan. Should have gone through. There's been a couple of others. I think Ruffles might have also got one that he got tackled on the line. He thought he had it across for the 6-pointer.
Plenty more still to come from Etihad Stadium. The Dockers doing it nicely, albeit they'd like to be a little bit further in front. Chris Scott talking to his charges there. We'll hear from injured Tiger star Nathan Foley in just a moment.
Welcome back to Etihad Stadium. Fremantle by 11 points at half-time. Second half not far away, but in the meantime, let's head downstairs to Lee Colbert.
Thanks, Wayne. I'm down here with young gun Nathan Foley. I can say young, mate, but spirited first half by the boys. They're starting to really show some great form, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and it's probably been a good 6 or 7 weeks. We've really sort of started to turn our year around in the last 6 or 7 weeks, and it was a great win last week, and tonight, 11 points down at half-time, we're certainly hanging in and playing some good football.
You can tell the belief's coming in this side. There's a lot of young guys out there we know, but you can see even coming off at half-time, they're 11 points down, and there is still belief there that can obviously press on in the second half.
Yeah, there is, and I think we showed that last week against Sydney. I think we're down by about 30 points in the third quarter, and come back and ended up winning the game. So there's certainly that belief there that we're in the game right until the end.
Damien Hardwick, he's impressed everyone, obviously media-wise, but how is he internally? He looks just a composed, complete coach already.
Yeah, you've wrapped it up. He's really composed, really sort of tries to teach us our structures. That's his main message the whole time, and it's been really consistent from day one. It's just all about learning our structures and game plans and those sort of things. So it's he's been sensational.
You've had a difficult year, mate. You're out with a right ankle injury. Will we see you again in 2010?
No, it has been a difficult year, and unfortunately that's the end for me. I have surgery this week, just minor surgery, but it'll sort of, at where we are now in the season, I won't get back in time. So it's disappointing, but that's the way football goes at times.
What sort of involvement will you have with the younger players? You've got plenty coming through the middle of the ground, and now that you're, a senior veteran, but you certainly are amongst this group, what involvement will you have with them?
Yeah, look, I'll work closely with the midfield, with Brendan Lade and Wayne Campbell, and like you said, we've got a lot of young blokes coming through, so just sit down and watch their videos and talks about things that I've learned over the years, and also with the new game plan, and that also I'll stick with the coaches to learn as much as possible about that.
Enjoying watching Dustin Martin play. He's amazing. He actually runs at blokes and then fends them off. He's an extraordinary young player, isn't he?
He is. I reckon he's got the best fend off in the AFL. It's incredible. He's so strong for such a young kid, and he's impressed everyone this year the way he's went about it, and he just seems to be getting better week in, week out. So it's he's very exciting to watch.
He's got some tattoos on his neck. Do you know what I actually tried to have a look and what they actually stand for or mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they mean. They're just new ones, them ones. So he went up to Sydney and got those ones. So he's doing quite well,
mate. Very appreciate your time. Thanks very much. A Cairo now gone commerce student. All the very best with the injury, and look forward to seeing you in 2011.
No worries. Thank you.
Half-time at Etihad Stadium, second half not far away from getting underway. Fremantle coming in 10 wins and 4 losses, only ever one top 4 finish in their 16-year history so far, but they're headed that way again this year. Let's head downstairs. Lee Colbert.
Thanks, Dwayne. Just an update on the injuries. Michael Johnson is actually out there. He's okay. A little bit like Angus Graham. Here's the incident. A nice little rib tickle, and there it is. He'll be okay and take part in the second half. Also, the Tigers. This was a big clash. As you'll see here, Benny Nason, nice front on. Well, that's actually Angus Graham. He'll be okay. But Nason, head clash, bang, there it is against King. He's okay, but might be doubtful in this second half. I'll keep an eye on him. And Griffiths is gone for the night, so they're one down, Richmond.
And just having a look running beside you, Colby, Jake King doesn't look all that flash with some strapping on a corky, I suspect.
Yeah, he actually was pretty wounded after that incident as well, but no, he's struggling up and down as you speak, so I'm not sure if it's a hamstring or a quad, but it looks like he might even be going back into the rooms, is Jake King.
Well, that's horrendous news for the Tigers if they're down to just 2 on the bench.
If he was a horse, you wouldn't be backing him. You'd probably be bringing the screen out, wouldn't you? He's not moving well at all. So manpower and lack of rotations is certainly going to play a part as far as Richmond's concerned. Just makes the job even tougher now, Jared.
Yeah, I think that they had some opportunities, the Dockers, to put some further gap between them and the Tigers on the board. Got a couple of their key forwards having their big nights. This will be an amazing win if the Tigers can breach this gap and get away with it.
Second half underway. Graham and Sandilands and Jackson with the clearance. Bounces it inside 50. Tuck the steal and the slip. Almost the throw. Riewoldt. Manhandled. Toted away. Nahas off the deck. Duffield. Last line of defence. Johnson.
Right, Angus, hold it there.
By telling Angus Graham not to go over the mark. Not sure what that was. Was that 15? Edwards marked it regardless. Tuck.
It's got to be a full moon.
Cochin inside 50 and Sandilands couldn't get it over his head.
He's grassed a few, Sandilands, tonight.
McPhee, Hayden. Strange start to this second half. Mundy, Van Berlo, and nice delivery. Bradley
working the corridor really well.
Hayden.
Got to get on Hayden.
And Crowley. Kelvin Moore comes at him and takes him in the ball.
Gee, the kick from Hayden was poor. He's missed Crowley by 15 metres, who should have run in and kicked an easy goal.
Connors.
Get under that and hope.
Asprey couldn't mark it. Ibbotson hugs the boundary, turns it back to Kelvin Moore.
Each team's just kicking it to the other every time they get the ball.
Daniel Jackson kicks it to that loose man way back in defence, Mitch Farmer. Wide ball. Newman.
They're going to have to be really good going inside 50 now.
Oh, the umpire got in the way of Tuck there. Dustin Martin just throws that high.
Catch that.
Well, White's under it. McPhee can't mark it. Edwards. Riewoldt didn't know he was giving it to him. He gets the snap, but it's wide. And that's not a bad result for Richmond.
You can just see the umpire here backing through as Shane Tuck came to get the ball. Not sure Adam McPhee read that play very well. I don't think his man was going to fly. He ended up going for the specky when he probably could have stayed down and marked it.
No one went at the ruck contest with Sandilands, so just took it out of the air. Silvani wide, and that's a win for Fremantle.
It was a good kick, Silvani. He was looking for the boundary and found it.
Lee Colbert.
Ben Nason having a little bit of trouble here, actually seeing he's got blurred vision in his right side, and just that play before, Dustin Martin kicked one up the chimney, but Riewoldt can't complain, boys. He actually kicked one in the air for him.
Morabito tackled, couldn't get the handball away. Good attack, Pavlich. Stripped Edwards of it. Caught now. Just gets the kick away in time. Jackson, who was reported in the opening half for rough conduct, knots it down. Graham back to Jackson. Shoots it very wide. Connors sells the dummy to Sandilands, who got there with the reach and the smother. Mundy let them come. White attacked the ball. Brilliant tackle, not rewarded. Van Berlo takes it out. Stalemate early in this third term.
Can smother from about 8 metres away. There in Sandilands.
And goes to this ruck contest.
That should be a free kick.
For in the back?
No, for taking it out of the ruck and not disposing of it correctly.
Do you still have to tackle them legally? Bradley.
Well, if he didn't tackle him legally, it should be a free kick one way or the other.
That's true.
I don't think play on's the decision. It's either in the back or not disposing of it correctly.
Yeah, well, the umpire probably thought it was both and paid neither. Bradley. Strange kick again, and it's okay. Robertson just pumps it high in hope. McPhee read that well. Plays on quickly. Didn't read that all that well. Wasn't 15. Hill tried to fool the umpire into thinking it was.
They're finding ways not to kick goals, Freo.
Connors wide. Nahas. Ibbotson. Both tied up. Ball between them. Stalemate.
That's two kicks in 3 minutes that Connors has not hit targets with because he takes such a big wind up with that left foot.
Mark Harvey goes for the Kathleen. It's legal, of course. Sandilands knocks it down. Maybe they're missing Ben Cousins tonight, Richmond. Surprise, surprise. People were talking about whether he's having a good season or not. Well, they could do with him right now. Jackson sends it long. Riewoldt's down there. Silvani, well played. Riewoldt the crumb. Kicks around the body high towards the square. White played on. Can you believe it? And almost holding the ball. Probably should have been a behind.
That's just a lack of awareness, isn't it? You go back and kick the goals. You're so close. The urge is there just to run in and kick the easy one, but...
Oh, good mark on the finish.
It was a terrific tackle on the goal line.
It was. I mean, White, unfortunately, had no idea there was a bloke there. And it was a magnificent tackle.
De Boer, that's not a good kick. Turns it over, Webley, and that's almost a throw.
Yeah, I would have paid a throw.
Cochin, who changed his boots at half-time. Connors, can he hit a target this time? Makes it hard for Riewoldt. Boundary line looming, and it's out of play. A couple of players changed their boots at half-time. Cochin did, Robertson did for Fremantle. Here's that tackle. That's ball to me.
Yep.
And if you take the mark and play on, that's your prior opportunity.
I agree.
Back into play. Jackson doing some ruck work. Stolen. And the kick from Silvani to the wing. Moore. Connors again. There's that big wind up and the long bomb, and McPhee read it beautifully.
Well, the long bomb's just not working because...
He's played on again!
No, he's gone. That's his prior opportunity, surely. Riewoldt kicks toward goal. All about the bounce. He gets a kind one. It's his second, and Richmond are back within 4.
I can't for the life of me work
It's a full
out
moon, Jason.
what has gotten into the head of Adam McPhee. Don't complain to the umpire. You went to hand pass the ball and then changed your mind. You took a step forward, it's play on. He did the same thing when he was 45 out directly in front of goal at the other end. Now he takes a great mark. He gets up. What does he do? Goes a step forward and goes to hand pass. That's play on. Good decision by the umpire.
It's a funny night tonight.
But even if it is a full moon, they can't see it. The roof's shut.
Still has the impact, Wayne.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Bounce to restart it. Richmond within 4. Pavlich trying to inspire them. Ballantyne shoots it long. Hazelby, goal square. Firstfield just got a hand on it. Umpire put the whistle to his mouth and thought better of it. Newman wobbles that towards Tuck. Terrible kick. Pearce got a handball up. Ruffles tries to knock it on. Tuck takes it over the line.
Well, it's a very difficult task for a backman like Newman, even though you are such a good kick, to just kick the ball to no one. He looked up and there was just white jumpers.
Graham and Sandilands the flick. Tuck. Edwards.
Didn't worry Edwards, he went for the boundary line.
And I think he might get it here. McPhee, with a little help from our cameraman, takes it across the line. 57 to 53. 4th versus 15th on the AFL ladder. Fremantle coming in, having won 2 of their past 4. And Richmond coming in, having won, strangely enough, after starting the season with 9 losses, having won 4 of their past 5.
Angus Graham, Colby just jumping off, and he's replaced by Vickery.
Bit of a change up. Angus is he's travelling okay after that heavy knock, but Vickery needs to stamp his approval now.
And Vickery does. Handball smothered, and he gets his own ricochet. Did he get a kick away? He does. Outside of the foot, a wobbler. I was going to say impossible to mark, but there's White inside 50 and a chance to kick it from there. He missed one from the goal line. Can he make amends and put Richmond back in front?
It's almost against the run of play, but they've got a chance to punish Fremantle here, the Tigers. If they can kick a couple of quick goals, it just puts pressure on all those all the Dockers misses, and they'll start to think about what could have been.
Matt White, just inside 50, strikes it nicely. It's straight, it's long, it's beautiful. Richmond by 2. And he'll come off with the blood rule, you'd think. It's hard to believe he was allowed to kick it.
Edwards actually didn't help there, Dwayne. He actually poked him right in the eye for the high five.
Oh, was that after the kick?
After the kick.
He's had blood drawn from the eye by a teammate celebrating after the goal. That's extraordinary.
He's having a look at that Vickery one. He's got to learn to go the other way and wheel onto his left side where that's where the space was. In the finish, he got his kick away and White playing in front.
So let's go back down to leg, Colby. Just explain this if you can, Colby.
You'll watch it here. He celebrates a great goal from 50 metres, and just keep an eye on Edwards now.
Oh. And splits him. So he comes off with the blood rule, as if they haven't got enough problems with Griffiths off for the game. Nason unlikely to come back on because he's got double vision. And now Matt White on the bench.
It boggles the mind, doesn't it? Getting injured after you've kicked a goal.
From the ball up. Cochin hacks it wide.
Interesting, both sides now playing conventional forward setups with 6 one-on-ones.
King, pick up at full pace was clever. Caught though. Ballantyne had the prior, holding the ball. Yeah, good tackle.
He was taken high initially though, and I think that's what the Tiger fans on that side of the ground are trying to tell the umpire.
Two of the smallest men on the ground, Ballantyne and King.
Shouldn't be able to find a hole in amongst 4 players like that.
Chase that kick.
Terrible kick from Ruffles inside 50. Hazelby makes it okay. Hayden, good opportunity. Very, very wide. Too wide.
Some of the Dockers field kicking today, and in particular, ability to butcher scoring opportunities, is the likes of which we haven't seen from them this year because they've been so good.
Tuck. Edwards the target.
It's almost like they've wound the clock back.
Weberly short or King long. King's got 2 to beat here. Crunched by Duffield. Back of the pack. Asprey just overran that. Needed to do better. Ballantyne short. Bradley.
Yeah, went straight through his legs. It was an opportunity for him because it came back.
Jackson comes and Hayden's just as good. Handball over the top. De Boer. Subin. Short pass from Roberton. And Pavlich, hand strong.
Hasn't kicked one from distance tonight. He's about due really to have an impact on the match.
Now, there was a great example of a good kick. Dylan Roberton. He just chips it into space. He doesn't try to do too much with it. He said, I know the skipper's in front. If I put the ball anywhere near his hands, he'll take the mark. He does.
Hasn't kicked one. Hasn't really had an impact in this quarter. He's been pretty solid up until now. Can he lead from behind?
Kicked 3 for the game and starts that way right.
Kick themselves out of a contest, the Dockers. And if they can just keep their composure, the Tigers, it could be 5 wins in 6 weeks.
It's a 1-point game. Connors. Riewoldt
pretty
sees that
smart
bounce
there.
out.
Yeah, he did. He protected the space behind though. He saw the flight of the ball was swinging from right to left as he looked at it. It was always going to come inside. And that actually could end up being a really costly smack by Shane Jackson.
So Griffiths with the shoulder strap won't come back on, and Nason on the bench with double vision. De Boer bangs it long. Sandilands with the reach, manhandled, no free. Pavlich overran it. Sandilands scoops it up. Morabito!
He's missed another. A sitter.
Scores a level.
Geez, a great recovery by the big bloke.
It was. And to get down to ground level and shoot out the hand pass. Every time I've seen the Dockers this year, I've been impressed by their ability to use the ball well to make the right decisions, and they're doing the complete opposite tonight.
Kelvin Moore to Vickery. Had the reach and wins it over Hayden. Runs and handballs. Collins uses some toe. Shorts it. Brilliant pass. Delidio. Would have been harder to get out of the way of that. He drilled him.
What's interesting, isn't it? They've finally decided, with the attention that Ryan Crowley's been paying Brett Delidio, that we'll send him forward, see if we can get him contributing on the scoreboard.
Hayden and King on behind play. Hayden hit the deck and then got up and went back to him. But all eyes on Delidio for the lead for the Tigers. He hates it. They lead by that.
Well, such a good kick on the run. That was a shocker.
There's time to think about it when you're kicking for goal, Jerry. That's the big difference between a lot of players that are normally good kicks.
He generally spears them on the run, though, and that one just had no punch in it at all.
Matt White being with his jumper changed because the original one had blood on it.
Looked a similar shape to me, that body.
So funny.
Except upside down.
Crowley waits under it. Hazelby, the fly!
You might have heard it too. Well, Crowley's in real trouble here.
He's popped the shoulder.
Yep, he has.
He's in trouble. Another high one for the Flyers to go at it. Off hands, Tuck. Waited for it. Mundy waited for him. Gives it up. Weberly shrugged the tackle. Back to Tuck. Caught. Farmer. Weberly going backwards though. Dustin Martin. And the open side. They have the spare man, but King needs to track it down before it rolls out, and he can't. So Crowley on the bench with a pop shoulder from this.
He gets the knee of his teammate. It's a big mark by Paul Hazelby, but the right knee catching the right shoulder of Ryan Crowley.
Martin, Graham, Deledio, Tuck, Deledio across goal, dangerously. Farmer needs to get there. Ballantyne made a contest. Farmer magnificent. Knocked it onto Weberly. Inside he wants to go. Had the options outside. He hits Edwards. Plays on. Collins just breaks free. Got Nahas out wide. He goes inside. Newman. Riewoldt leads back. Now he leads forward. He's ignored again. Dustin Martin hands it off. Deledio could have gone all the way. It goes to Riewoldt on the fourth lead. And the fourth lead was on it. His work rate paid off.
Yeah, spot on, Brian. He went up and back. Did a blind turn, did a Dunstall duck back that you made famous all those years ago. And even this one, he didn't really hit that well. It was dying on its trajectory, but he got it.
Having a great period now, the Tigers. The last 5 or 10 minutes, they've turned this game on its head.
The biggest lead they've had tonight was 7 points in the opening 5 minutes of the game. Riewoldt now has 3, and they lead by 7 again.
Well, I'm not sure whether he elected to stay outside the new turf area, but it did look like it. But this is good running from Deledio. He must have just pushed forward temporarily because his last couple have been running off that half-back line. There he is taking a mark on the new strip, but he ends up kicking on the outside of it.
Ryan Crowley in some discomfort.
Just cops that knee.
He may have even fractured the scapula.
Have a look at the boundary umpires caught in the middle of it all here. That's not helping these interchanges, is it?
Well, you saw actually Hayden Ballantyne go over the line.
Graham, the big long thump. Edwards flies almost with the one hand, couldn't bring it down. Still a chance though. Newman wrapped up. Edwards on his backside, couldn't get the handball away. They are inspired at the moment, the Tigers.
He's gone.
And they'll get the free. 30,000 Richmond fans roared for it and got what they roared for.
Big Subban just caught over the footy there.
White with one eye open, one eye shut. Came from a big Richmond family. In fact, his grandfather has a Matt White tattoo on his shoulder. The picture of Matt White and the big number 35. Kicks at goal, and they won't celebrate that, the family here. Only a behind.
Well, Jason, I'm not sure who told him to kick like that, but that is ridiculous.
Probably had enough angle to go with the traditional drop punt from there, I think.
It's the biggest lead that Richmond has had for the game. Tuck. Deledio did well. Connors pulled that. White on the run this time. Riewoldt, can he get a jump? He does. He plucks it. He missed it. Asprey had it, lost it. Collins slipped. Asprey, Riewoldt getting in each other's way. No prior opportunity. He shuffled it out. Still alive. Ibbotson got it back from Johnson. Bradley caught. Ibbotson just building a ship in a bottle there. Fremantle. No space to use, and it cost them. Newman.
Well, he was on his natural foot then, Reece Palmer. He's got to be better. You can't just kick the ball out in the full with your good foot.
Called to play on. Took on Ballantyne, nearly lost. Tuck. Takes on Pearce. Martin took them all on as normal. Thursfield. Martin. There's the don't argue, but it was high.
Gee.
Well, they've got to run deep now, the Tigers, because they are running hard forward here, the Dockers.
Hayden short. Goes to Pavlich. He's the set-up man. Crowley can jump. Kelvin Moore 3 to beat. Out of play is a win for Moore. There's 3 of them with him, and he takes it across.
They did really well because it was a 3-on-2 situation. And once again, Tigers have got to start running a bit harder in defence. I know they've been working really hard the other way, but they are getting outnumbered on the overlap.
Good news for the Dockers with Ryan Crowley back out on the ground.
Pavlich.
Well, this is an opening.
Extracts it. Newman was waiting for it. Matt White's got a couple to beat. Ballantyne made it tough. He dropped the mark. He picks it up and goes. Weberly. Handball option inside. Connors.
Wanted the left foot.
And got it. And delivers Asprey. Gets the free for an arm shot against Subin. This game's lifted a gear.
Well, this will test him as a set shot. Have to kick from just outside 50. He's looking around. Got Dustin Martin on his left if he wants him. There it is.
He gives it off and the kick's smothered. Subin did well. Pearce tackled and dropped it. Not holding the ball. Hard to believe that. The fans can't believe it. White, he kicks to the square. They all fly. Riewoldt can't grab it. Little tap Duffield. McPhee, Mundy, out of trouble. Short-lived. King, Tuck, centering kick. Graham goes and Duffield the pluck.
Just got to think it through a bit smarter here, the Tigers. They're peppering away, and yet they are kicking it over the head of lots of short options to lots of numbers of Dockers players.
They're under siege, the Dockers. They'd love just to keep possession of the footy for a moment, but they just can't do it.
Duffield towards Sandilands. 3 to beat, and they all jump. That means Richmond didn't have enough players down. Mundy got it from Palmer. Crowley the target. Just back on. This will give his shoulder a test. Lays a tackle. Passes the test. Passes the test brilliantly with some help from Hazelby.
Well, the pace of Delidio there really did work in their favour.
22 minutes gone, third term. Vickery with the flick. Connors, Tuck, Connors. Didn't really need all those possessions. Mundy gives it up. Palmer, Ibbotson, Morabito. Can he find a man? It was touched. Pearce gets the kick, full forward, bouncing ball. It rolls across the face. And out of play, a win for Fremantle. Ruffles bumped. It is okay. A calm.
Haven't kicked a goal this quarter, the Dockers. They'd love a settler.
Sandilands tries to thump it on. Newman had a piece of it. Hits it toward the line and taken across.
At the moment, Gerard, I just think the Tigers are working a bit harder. They seem to have more numbers around just about every contest.
Yeah, I think they've come out much better after half-time. I think they've all felt a lot more comfortable in this man-on-man situation. Since they have stopped the overlap from the Dockers in the one-on-one across the ground, they've just looked so much more settled.
Martin to Cochin to Weberly, who spills it. Hill comes at him, mops up that mess. Hill lays a tackle on Cochin. Back to Weberly, caught. Back to Cochin. It almost worked for them, Richmond. King's got to go here. Couple to beat. McPhee. Inside 3 minutes to three-quarter time. Fremantle 4th on the AFL ladder. Tracking down a top 4 spot heading into the finals. They're hoping for a top 2. They need to win games like this. Pearce.
I just saw 3 Tiger players all point to Pavlich. No one wanted to pick him up. Everyone said pick up Pavlich. 3 players.
Back to Duffield. Well, would you want to pick him up?
Yeah, if I had the choice, I'd send someone else there too.
Well, right now, no one's on Pavlich.
Duffield called to play on. And given some space. Bang! Graham's gone down big time. Reece Palmer's put him on the deck, and it was legal. Hill feeds onto it, should kick the goal. And Kahn hits the post. And Graham's still down in the hands of Craters.
Well, he got absolutely whacked.
Well, it's a big bloke hit by nearly the smallest bloke on the ground.
He had no awareness that this was coming, though. And this is all legal because he's within 5 metres.
And it was below the shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah, that's as good a bump as you'll see. Fair, harsh for Richmond. From the knock-on. Inside 2 minutes, Kepler Bradley gave it up. Mundy, Pavlich, Bradley shoots it wide. Ibbotson, 50 from goal. Centering kicks a good one. Hazelby had a piece of it. Firstfield, superb. Collins wide. Edwards can run. They've got the spare man. It's Webley. He's already kicked his first goal in AFL footy tonight. He looks up. Won't go for goal. Goes for Nahas. Handled by Duffield. Nahas back onto it. Runs to 30. Snaps and misses. Behind. Gee, it's a good game to watch.
They're a minute and 20 away from having their first goalless quarter of the year. The Fremantle Dockers.
Well, that is a fast break if you've ever seen it. Would have been much easier on Nahas if the first kick had have gone to Webley in space, running at the goal rather than him having to slow down and wait for it. But it was a great rebound, and to find that loose man out on the wing was a good structure.
Down to one fit player on the bench, Richmond. Graham still in the hands of trainers, Colby.
Yeah, one thing, Angus Graham, at least it was on the other side from the early one from McPhee, so he's just balanced it up. He's got one each side now.
Okay, broken rib each side. Out of play on the full, and this might give Richmond one last chance to add to their lead.
I don't think the scoreboard really reflects the dominance they've had in this term, Jason. I think they could have easily kicked another 2 or 3.
Vickery to Riewoldt, almost, and a brilliant mark, McPhee.
He's taken some good marks tonight, Adam McPhee. Hasn't always done what he should with the footy, but his aerial prowess has been first class tonight.
Resurrected his career, really.
Let's play on.
Had a season high 26 possessions last week against Port as well. Adam McPhee, Morabito, wide, Subin and Newman.
He's having an absolute blinder, Chris Newman, the skipper of the Tigers.
Graham's up. .33 seconds left. Time enough for a clearance and a score for either side. Richmond get the clearance. McPhee, he just keeps doing it. They might need to put him forward if he keeps marking like this.
He used his arms, but I think he must have got him in the side.
Mundy down to 15 seconds. Called to go. Floats it wide. Sandilands, good hands. And barring some crazy free up forward for Fremantle
at the back.
It's 3/4 time. Fremantle led at quarter time by 4 points after opening up a 15-point lead in the opening term. They led by 11 points at half-time, Fremantle, but a big third for the Tigers, and they lead by 7. 10-8-68 to Fremantle, 8-13-61. Richmond 7 points up at 3/4 time after earlier in the game they were down by 15. 10-8-68 plays 8-13-61. It's 4th and 15th on the AFL ladder. Of watching this game, you wouldn't know which team is where. We head downstairs. Lee Colbert.
Yes, mate, I haven't got Mitch with me. He's actually tied up with the midfielders at the moment as Harvey, as you can see right behind me. So I'll get him in a minute, mate. Come back.
Okay, Barry Mitchell still in the Fremantle huddle, guys, and Mark Harvey working overtime in there.
It's been a fascinating contest. Look, for the first half, I kept expecting Fremantle to break away. They created so many opportunities but didn't take them. And in the end, it's come back to haunt them because the Tigers have found another gear in that third term. And they'll go into this last term, even though they look short on the bench, they'll go in chock full of confidence because they've got all the momentum in this match.
Let's head back downstairs. Lee Colbert
just
has
got him
been
now,
joined
mate.
by Barry Mitchell.
Thank you, Dwayno. Mitch, not a great quarter that term. Got to improve, obviously. Yeah, we started really well. We've just been a bit wasteful going inside 50. Haven't taken our chances. We've missed some shots. We should have kicked. Got some advantage now. 2 on the bench for the Tigers. Really got to push forward and actually kick some goals. Yeah, we do need to score and we need to attack, so that's what we've told them to do. I enjoy watching you next to Aaron Sandilands too, mate, just so you know. Thanks, mate.
It's a bit at stake here for the Dockers, more than just the 4 points. They've got the Bulldogs here in a couple of weeks' time, and they go down here and they lose the Dogs, then all of a sudden top 4 spot may go missing. So given that they've got the advantage on the bench, we know they've got some issues with players not being here, but from what we saw in the first half, Jason, there's enough talent out there for the Dockers to expect to win this.
Well, there is. You could hear Barry Mitchell talking about the misses. They're obviously feeling it as well. They would be furious in the box at some of the use of the footy, particularly inside the attacking 50.
Pavlich at full forward, 1 out.
They've been inspiring all year, Fremantle. Will they be inspiring again in this final term? Morabito with the clearance. Crowley just overran it. Deledio back. Connors, 24 possessions so far. Thursfield. Farmer the target. Bounces kindly for him. Tracked down by Ballantyne. Tuck and give it back if he wants to. Does. Farmer takes them on. Short spear pass. Looking for Riewoldt. White got a piece of it. Nahas from the carpet. They lead by 13.
What a start to the Tigers, all the way from Calvin Moore in defence. A very quick switch by Connors, and he's got some pace, Farmer. Jason, you'd really like to have him running out of defence.
He worked hard too, and good of Tuck to give him the ball back, but they had a couple of players in the corridor that didn't have opponents particularly concerned about them. The Tigers, that's just making the most of a ball that's in an attacking position.
Biggest lead that Richmond has had for the game. 13 points. Biggest lead of the game overall. Fremantle led by 15 in the opening term. And the ball up. Sandilands with the reach. DeBoer attacked it. And Mundy gets the clearance. Bouncing ball at half back. Connors again attacks it. Ballantyne with him. Out of play.
One-on-one all over the park. It really has been the difference, it appears, from a tactics perspective that suited the Tigers, without the Dockers getting that overlap off half-back with Roger Hayden getting so free.
Yeah, it has, and I like the way they've also broken the Deledio tag.
Morabito really trying to get rid of it there.
Crowley now playing forward because Deledio's gone to Hill.
They've certainly missed Michael Barlow. Sandilands. Graham appeared to be over his shoulder and then almost dragged him out of that. Collins. King. He looks around at Duffield and says, I'll take you on. Floats it long. Riewoldt down there is in a 1-on-2. Knocks it down. Nahas backs into that one. Dragged down. Riewoldt, little toe poke. Toes it up. Vickery. He sold the dummy there. Ran one way, went the other. Hit the post.
Well, they're almost one punch away from knocking the Dockers out. It looks like the Tigers. They've carried that third quarter momentum into the last.
Danger here. Deledio got hands to it. McPhee, sorry, Jason.
I was just wondering if the Dockers have got anything left, Dwayne, if they can raise another effort.
DeBoer, Morabito. Hill. Cochin hunts him down. Kick. Pavlich direction. Well played, Moore. Didn't just spoil it. He spoiled it down to Farmer.
No one at Pavlich's feet.
That's ball. Martin tried to get the handball out. He didn't handball it away. Free kick to Mundy.
Crowley one out. Will he back him in?
Richmond filling the spaces now.
Kepler Bradley. No, he's gone for Crowley.
Puts it up high. Newman just enough to knock it down to Thursfield. Jackson. Back to Thursfield, back to Jackson, well worked. So the handball release over the top was Matt White, but he was missed.
Not sure why Daniel Jackson went underground then. But they have got the run, the Tigers. Plenty of legs, even though they're down on rotations. It's been a courageous effort from them.
It's not over yet. Fremantle has been fantastic all year. They need to do it away from home. Duffield, Pearce, slap on Morabito, clever. Chance for the ball, centering kick, straight to Bradley. And he was bumped, he didn't mark it. He was bumped in the marking contest according to the umpire.
And hurt himself. I'll tell you what, it was a pretty ordinary kick going to him as well. He was very much in the clear.
If I was Kepler Bradley, I'd have broken ribs right now. I'd go down and I'd be off the ground and give Pavlich the shot at goal. I'm serious.
Look at this kick. I mean, it's a floater that draws him into the one player remotely near him in Kelvin Moore.
Moore had no eyes for the ball there. That was a free. Huge kick this.
Jared sweating on it.
To pull it back to 8 points.
Kepler will be sweating.
And he made the goal umpire dance, but it's in. It's an 8-point game.
I think he's just great for footy, Kepler Bradley. He's had a fantastic year. I've been on his bandwagon for a long time, but he does have a propensity to miss a couple.
He's got 3 to his name now. It's been a fantastic return. He found space. He actually took the mark. It was a good mark before he was bumped.
We isolated a pivotal duel, Jason, and that is Delidio on Hill. Mundy and Martin also.
3 goals for Bradley, 3 goals for Pavlich. 8 points the margin.
Mundy and Jackson going side by side.
Ton of time left in this one. Jackson and Mundy were side by side. Jackson tried to tunnel it out. Mundy gets the clearance. High ball, Edwards waits under it. Pavlich back of the pack. Crowley and Pavlich didn't know which one was going to go for it and which to shepherd. Newman tried to get it to Edwards. Tries to tow it away. Newman almost a throw. Connors, Webley.
He was brilliant there, Newman, from his little toe poke to that quick handball.
White not paid the mark. Vickery takes on Hayden, runs away from him. High to full forward. Farmer stays down. Back of the pack. Collins will do. Tries to reach a handball out. Asprey knocks it on. Farmer, goal square. Tries to shoot it back. McPhee, superb. Van Berlo, little floater. Tough for Pearce. Bumped by King. Legally in the side. King with a centering ball. Sandilands.
Well, it was the right option. Just poor execution by Jay King. He had numbers there. Unfortunately, he found the biggest bloke on the ground.
Anybody at the Bulldogs or Carlton don't wear long stops tomorrow. They've got rocks in their head.
Thursfield knocked it down. Duffield got it from Hazelby.
No run.
And no one there at all to kick to. Kelvin Moore.
Tigers have continually kept their back six nice and strong in this last half.
Connors, horrible kick. Dustin Martin forced to go back and get it. Hazelby threw that. He threw it to Mundy. He got away with it. Hill. Played on. Took the step. Crowd getting a little restless. Hill takes him on. Runs to 48. All class. Top draw.
Well, you could see that he wanted to take him on. He just had to give himself a little bit of space and get Delidio to commit. Is this a throw in the middle of the ground? Oh, it's a slick hand pass. Picked it up with one and then hit it with the other coming through.
Did he?
I think so. Benefit of the doubt. It's almost like the one that Simon Black got pinged for throwing weeks ago when it was a quick hand pass.
Now look at that though. That is just brilliant footwork. No one can stop him. He wasn't a wingman. He'd be the NBA.
Rolled gold. Superb player to watch. Stephen Hill. Pick 3 behind Watson, Nat Nui. You wouldn't change that pick. Mundy comes at it. Gives it up. Morabito got it from Palmer.
Okay.
Mark again to Connors. And 50. No. Umpire blew the whistle. Thought about it. Graham. Delidio. White. Thumps it long. Riewoldt should go here. Does go. Knocks it to the back. Almost raked it. Well, he did tote it back into himself. Ties it up. And we'll get a ball up.
Let's have another look at the Hazelby handball. Did he get his right left hand on it as well?
Brilliant.
Spot on.
Brilliant hand pass.
too quick for the eye. Sandilands stumped it out, but straight to King. Centering kick, high kick. Thursfield, Riewoldt! Huge leap! Good time to take one like that.
I can't for the life of me work out, Jared, and we've seen it in recent weeks. Defensive ruckman just thumping the ball to open space. What's the point of doing it if there's no one from your team there? He gets it out to where Jay King is. Look at Jack Riewoldt with eyes only on the footy.
Jeez, he had some space. He came from miles back. Hasn't been given too many to go for today, but that one he made his own.
For number 4, at an 8-point lead.
Well, he's certainly got Tiger supporters on their feet because he's capable of doing some miraculous things, Jack Riewoldt. Brilliant in the air. Fearless when you fly into a pack like that. Eyes only on the footy. He had a teammate, I'm not sure what Will Thursfield thought he was doing. I'd much rather have Jack Riewoldt jumping for the ball than Will Thursfield, to be brutally honest, but that is a wonderful mark.
He's confident, they're confident, and some doubts in that box now. Richmond's won their past 3 games coming into this. Big crowd here, see them make it 4 in a row. Dockers under some pressure. Duffield, gang tackled. A calm again at Etihad Stadium. Sandilands the ruck work down to Tuck though. Wobbles it to half forward. Asprey manhandled off it. Tackle late on Robertson. Good tackle too. Shuffles it out. Have needed to put Pavlich on the ball now. Gave it out to Van Berlo. Throws it clear. Deledio attacked it hard. Boundary line there if he wants it. McPhee comes at him. Handballs it inboard a little. Nahas. A double gang tackle. Ball. Took them on. Got his hands free according to the umpire. Mundy. Turnover. Kelvin Moore.
He had a short option on 2. Dreadful kick from David Mundy. But the Tigers have all control now.
Edwards to Weberly. Needed to be a good kick. It was a superb kick.
Look at the run.
Connors White to White. Pops it up high. Riewoldt under it. Taps it down. Collins' advantage. Boundary line there. Tries to keep it alive and does. Now got it and they've got him. Out of play.
Jason, you said that you thought the Tigers were working harder. It's pretty hard to refute at the moment. Looking across the board, they just are going 10, 15, 20% quicker. They're getting extra numbers of contests. And the Dockers look like they're trying to do it on talent alone.
Just running themselves into the ground, the Tigers.
Connors throws it out. Sandilands, Hazelby, Palmer, Hayden, Pavlich. Kelvin Moore attacks it. Ballantyne with him. Little nudge. No free. King backs into that tackle. Did he have Pryor? He's over it. It's King, of course. Oh, he does get the benefit. And he wins a free.
Against Ballantyne. He hasn't had a very good night, Hayden Ballantyne. 8 possessions, hasn't scored.
Well, they are the 2 nickel kings of this game. Terrible handball that time from Farmer. Turnover. Palmer after Farmer. And now Johnson can peel onto it. No one in front of him. He needs to kick the goal. Hasn't got anyone to kick to. Kicks it long and strong and straight.
Gee, what a goal.
Back to 2 points. Brilliant.
Well, it was inexperienced. Farmer trying to play slightly outside the boundaries of where he's at the present time. Rushing the ball on. And just not hitting a target. And then the turnover was terrific. Reece Palmer spots up one of the best kicks in the game. In fact, it was, I thought it was Hill, but he just buried that ball. That is a superb shot at goal. Johnson.
Gets a rest after that piece of inspiration.
Pick a winner for me, Jason.
Well, look, I still think Richmond are working harder and running harder, and that might get them over the line, but it's been an enthralling contest.
In some ways, Fremantle have got more to play for. top 2 spot means a home final in the first week. Tuck inside 50, thump back out. Hazelby. Pearce bumped on the kick. Deledio takes on Hazelby, wins, chips. Pocket. Connors can line up.
On the left foot, very difficult kick from there.
And he knows he owes them.
You would think too far out for the banana.
Career was on the line 9 weeks ago. And now he can kick the goal.
Smart.
Push this margin back to 8 points with 15 minutes gone, final term.
Not rushing it, he just had a breather waiting for his 22nd call. It's against Jake King. This one, that's the payback on Hayden Ballantyne for the knee before.
And it's in the middle.
I hope it was a decent whack, because you'd hate to think it was just a little niggle that they've reversed that.
Tigers lose this. It could be his last in footy.
Ballantyne. Mundy sits it up. Sandilands with the reach. Can't pluck it. Farmer shoots it over the top to Weberly. Half back, not a lot to go to. Handball to Kelvin Moore, as good as anything. 2 little guys to go for. King and White. King in the ruck in the contest. Can't take the mark. McPhee too good again.
Well, he's matched up on a couple of shorter players, but even when he's been in some packs, he has taken some terrific marks. And as you said, he's turned his career around again. And I think it was probably the tagging role on Judd that reignited it. He's done it on a few good players in the middle of the ground.
Palmer to Duffield. And loads up. Sandilands with the reach again. He flies and he's got it.
Well, no one made any body contact with him, Jared. They left him deep. They let him have a clean run and jump at the footy, and that's inexcusable. They were all marshalling the space ahead of him. Someone had to be touching him, feeling his body, putting a little bit of physical pressure on. So that, look at the space he comes from all on his own. Somebody's got to be putting pressure on him. No one's going to stop him if he runs and jumps, because they can't get anywhere near the height that he's going to mark the ball at.
He could be the hero in his own milestone game. It's his 150th. That to give Fremantle the lead. He's missed. It's a 1-point game.
That's a horrendous miss.
Still trying to get over Joe King giving away that shot of goal.
Well, just when we were starting to think that
I haven't seen it yet.
Jake King might be about to actually make it to a 50th game, which we thought would never happen at one stage. It's game 49 tonight. As you said, Jared, if they don't win it, it might be his last. To the outer side. Nice grab, Vickery. Tuck. Back again. Weberly. Edwards might have to go here. And too clever, Cochin. White. Working super hard.
Some one-on-one contest impact the match, and that one there from Cochin could well be one of those.
Called to play on, goes backwards to Kelvin Moore.
Well, it's a good decision, because they've really got them lined up across the other side of the ground, and good work from Pavlich, who's going to push up and make this basically stop.
Thursfield to Connors. Deledio.
His pace has become important, Brett Deledio.
Yeah. Jackson. Remembering, of course, they're down to just one fit man on the bench, Richmond. Riewoldt inside 50. Nahas attacks it. So too Pearce. Handballs to Hayden. Handball a little wobbly, but it finds Ibbotson. De Boer. He wants a handball to Duffield. They've worked it beautifully. Hazelby. They could take the lead here and now. Back to Duffield. It's a 1-point game, and they've got the loose man over the top.
Oh, it's Pavlich.
Bradley to Pavlich. Takes them on. Floats it long. Hill.
You want the ball in the hands of the right people. Matthew Pavlich had to make a split-second decision and kick the ball off one step and kick it around the corner, and he hits the target.
And there's a hush here at Etihad Stadium. They have led Richmond all term, and this kick give Fremantle back the lead.
Gee, that was class from Matthew Pavlich.
19 minutes gone. He sprays it wide, and it's just scraped in to level the scores. That was nearly out on the full.
Might be a little bit of goal kicking practice for the Dockers this week. Oh, that's
dangerous, but okay.
I thought Michael Johnson was going to get there to spoil.
Well, Michael Tuck is really keen to handball this off.
Michael or Shane?
That'll be Shane. Michael was keen for Shane to handball it off.
Tell you what, he could probably still play Michael Tuck even though he's 65. Duffield, out of side. McPhee.
Oh, Pavlich in space.
Heads to Pavlich. Thursfield gets there. Knocks it down. Tuck. Scoops it back to Webley. Danger here. Almost gone. Connors.
Tigers to get out of
Tuck. They just keep taking it on. Deledio and some calm. 27,000 here on the edge of their seats. How about that kick?
What about Roger Hayden having an air swing that could cost him?
Collins, Edwards almost run down. Goes long, goal square. Manhandled. No free to Riewoldt. Crowd roaring for one. Don't get it. Pearce takes them on. Shoots it wide. McPhee scores are still level.
Geez, there's some pressure on everyone out there, the umpires included.
Hugs the wing. Deledio jumps with the fist. Hill stayed down, gets it from Hazelby. Handball towards Pearce, but it's out of play.
Was it a free kick down in the goal square to Jack Riewoldt? Silvani. Well, actually Riewoldt had a handful of jumper, so I'm happy for the umpire to call that both ways. They're both hanging on.
Yeah, it's a pretty good decision on that vision. Tuck. Jackson hacks it forward. Attacking it though, Ibbotson brilliant there. Asprey waited for it and his opponent attacked it. Ruffles can't get there, ball in. Let's go downstairs, Lee Colbert. Back into play, Jackson. Scoops it back. Newman, trouble. Connors, Thursfield. This kick needs to be good, and it is. Edwards. He's got the release man wide. It's Vickery. Hayden can't shut him down. Kelvin Moore working hard. Collins working hard into space. 22 minutes gone. Sits it up. Riewoldt can't get a jump at it. McPhee takes another saving mark.
Not sure who Tyrone Vickery was looking for with that kick. Again, it comes down to decision making.
Yeah, Tyrone froze a little bit. He was looking for a safe option, but he had to turn around and
free kick against
Freo.
again.
Interchange infraction.
Oh no!
Against Freo, so this is a goal.
So Hill came on and now it comes off again. Van Berlo comes back on, and because the ball was at full forward, it means it's a 50-metre penalty added to it. Riewoldt will kick from the goal line for number 5 and a 6-point lead.
Well, we had vision earlier in the night of Hayden Ballantyne running over. They've done this a couple of times for Freo. This time they got caught.
It's stranger than fiction.
Well, we don't take any credit away from Richmond. They've been very, very brave, but you have to think that Fremantle have continued to find ways to cost themselves goals.
Have a look at this, what happened earlier in the piece. There's two blokes come off and Hayden's on, then he's off, now he's back on again. Blokes maybe doing their own thing on the boundary line.
Jack Riewoldt, just another 5.
But can I suggest that there is a Dockers interchange steward under a little bit of heat at the moment? He'll be answering some questions.
Well, that could cost them top 2 heading into the finals. Who knows, it might yet cost them top 4. Mundy attacks it. Ball shuffled out. Still a lot of time left. 4.5 minutes and change. Underground handball. The ball missed it. Cotchin had it, lost it. Martin can't strike clear this time. Ball tied up. Ball up. It's been a splendid contest from the get-go.
Boys, just a quick update. I've just been down the bench, and that's why I missed you last time. But Hayden Ballantyne was the person, not the steward. He actually ran outside the gates.
Thanks for that, Colby. Pavlich dragged down, no prior opportunity. Mundy to Morabito, thumps it long. Johnson's down there. He was manhandled. He's got it. If he gets it out, they've got players. It's a ball up. And a handy spot for a ball up for Fremantle.
Consistent, just letting it go at both ends.
The umpire couldn't pay a free kick there. I mean, this is such a tough game to umpire. With two blokes grabbing.
30 players around the ball up. Knocked down by Sandilands. Deledio over it and now releases it. And another ball up, but still in a good spot for Fremantle. Too far for Richmond to try and knock this through.
There is space behind. They look for Hill or look for one of the nippy guys to go forward. This time they've got at least some coverage.
Sandilands beats Graham, knocks it down. Deledio beat Morabito to it. Seeks the boundary. Runner was in the way. Crowley hunts it down. Webley, he sidesteps him, kicks inside 50. Bouncing ball. It's a chaos ball. Knocked down. Pavlich, he's the man you want with it. He gets caught and had Pryor gone.
Tried to weave some magic, but he was in peak hour traffic. Matthew Pavlich, every way turned, 1, 2, 3, 4 Richmond players. He's desperate to get the boot to it, just couldn't do it.
Players don't know how long left. They look at the scoreboard, it says 26 minutes gone.
Yeah. Very, very difficult to run down 3 minutes on the clock.
Newman. Wide. And an arm slap free against Duffield to Farmer, who didn't even know it was his. Nice time to get one of those.
Not sure if you're picking up, boys. Angus Graham just came off the ground, but Webley's on the wing now. He's cramping. The Richmond boys are just hanging on.
Farmer hugs the boundary. Riewoldt! Huge mark!
Well, they've been nominated for Mark of the Week 6 times already this year. He's taken a couple tonight that might mean number 7.
Well, he plays on quickly. Hugs the boundary. Vickery under it. Jackson jump. Sandilands stayed down and crumbed it. Palmer hands it off. Mundy backtracks. Subin. Dangerous kick, but a superb kick to the ball.
Ballantyne in space.
Looks up, tries to hit him. It's a bullet pass and Ballantyne drops it. Connors. Cochin with some poise there. Deledio. King turns around. Nahas. Off hands. McPhee. No prior opportunity there. Nahas drags him down. Ball up.
It was a brilliant tackle. I'm not even sure who it was, but he wrapped the arm up, preventing McPhee from releasing it.
Jack Riewoldt over the top of 4 players, including Aaron Sandilands. In contrast, Hayden Ballantyne drops one he should have taken.
Dustin Martin, a behind would be handy. A goal would be unbelievable. They lead by 12.
What can you say? He is just a stoppage king, isn't he, Dustin Martin? His ability to break out of congestion and the right foot banana on the run. That's a memorable one. They just keep writing new chapters in their development, the Tigers.
Some players arrive at times hoping to be part of something, but sometimes you just have to create what you actually want to be part of. And Dustin Martin is creating what Richmond is becoming.
And again, they preyed on a Dockers turnover. I mean, Hayden Ballantyne should have marked it at half forward, set up a scoring opportunity. He drops it. Richmond kick a goal.
Jackson tied up.
2 minutes, just under. Got to get it away from this stoppage, the Dockers, if they'd have any chance.
Well, almost the best they could hope for is a draw.
Yeah.
And gee, you want extra time, Gerard. I'm not sure Richmond could play it with 18 men. Vickery, Deledio, a behind to seal it. He heads long. Out on the full. 90 seconds.
I don't think they've got the legs. The Dockers, no one's running. There's no movement. It's just let's kick it long to Sandilands, and he won't even get to this one.
Thumb clear. Edwards wrapped up. McPhee tried his heart out again. Out of play. We're down to 124.
Quite a performance this one, Colby, with so many injuries down on the bench. It must be mayhem down there.
It is mayhem, and geez, it's been great watching Hardwick at his job. It's been fantastic.
Deledio thumps it long. Riewoldt, it'll be appropriate. He brings it down. He tried to claim the mark, but it hit the turf. But that'll be enough. A ball up with 1:10 on the clock and a 12-point lead. They look at the scoreboard again, Richmond. It says 29 minutes gone. They know jubilation's not far away. Sandilands slaps it down. Morabito turns it over. Asprey, Cochin, Graham. Touch play on. Hazelby dragged down. Scooped up. Edwards bends it high and across the face. Out of play on the full.
Oh no, he changed his mind, the boundary umpire. He was about to call it out in the full. Then he said it bounced on the line.
Geez, I like the way that Shane Edwards has improved his game.
Yep.
Put him Jackson a couple of times, but he's dancing like Michael.
Riewoldt, don't tell me. Well, that's the behind. The crowd know Will seal it. They don't know how long left, but they know a 13-point lead with 30 minutes on the clock means they're home. Sandilands rises, tries the flick on.
Why wouldn't you mark it?
Connors. High bomb. Asprey flies back of the pack. Collins! He was the highlight reel last week. Kicks a little bit of icing this week.
Well, that roar is back, Jason. That Tiger roar, the famous Tiger roar, is starting to find voice. Because that time, the roof actually lifted a little bit.
They've been relentless in the second half, just pushing the ball forward, making contests. It hasn't always been as polished as I'm sure Damien Hardwick would like, but the endeavour has been first class, and he's just showing us a repeat of last week. He's enjoying this, and why wouldn't he? What a 6-week period it's been for the Tigers.
Phenomenal.
It'll be 4 wins in a row.
Can they make the finals, Wayne?
5 of their last 6. Sandilands, I'll tell you what, if they made it, they'd threaten a few. Newman's been superb all night, the captain. He heads wide. Sometimes in footy you think you've seen it all. I'm not sure I've ever seen Richmond like this. I haven't seen this movie before. Words can't do these pictures justice. Bookmakers paid out on the wooden spoon 6 weeks ago. It was thought to be Richmond's. They came into this game 15th on the ladder, facing the 4th place team, Fremantle, who've had an outstanding season. Arguably, they're having the best season of their 16-year history, Fremantle. But it's Richmond's night. It's been Richmond's 2 months. It's been Damien Hardwick's 2 months. Let's head down to Lee Colbert.
Dimmer, victory suite, it is unbelievable, mate.
It was a brave win by our boys. Obviously 2 down on the bench, lost them before half-time. So credit to the players and our assistant coaches. They put in a terrific amount of work. And look, it's just great reward. And it's fantastic to see all our fans here. It looks, it's just a great win, a great feeling.
You can just tell, mate, you're riding every bump on that boundary line. Do you ever consider going back upstairs?
I need a retaining harness, I think, at some stage. I just love our blokes. They're just a terrific footy club, and we're starting to see what we can deliver. So it's just great for their belief and great for their confidence going forward.
They're certainly starting to change culture at this footy club. It's they're really gelling, and these young blokes are just coming on for you beautifully.
Oh, it is, and they just never give up. That's the thing about it. I reckon we were probably 20 points down, they reckon, early in the second, and they just keep going. They keep adhering to our structures, what we're trying to do. So very, very proud of them.
What did you think of Matty White when he got that finger in the eye?
He can't even see out of one eye. So it's a great effort for him to play on. Terrific.
Dimmer, go and enjoy.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Colby. Congratulations to Damien Hardwick. He mentioned a very key word there, Jared, belief. Spirit's a wonderful thing, endeavour and all those things combined are great, but once you start to develop belief, you start to go places.
And I think when you're down 2 men on the bench, you've got to draw on those sort of things, Jason, and spirit and belief got them across the line many ways, but I think from a structural perspective, they changed it up a little bit. They didn't. They blocked the run that Fremantle was generating options for easy goals. And I mean, they have got no one to blame, the Dockers, bar themselves, for not having a bigger lead at half time. They missed some absolute shockers, but their work rate was what was inferior to the Tigers.
Yep. We've spoken to their coach. Let's speak to the captain.
That was an awesome night out, mate. Not only the win, but the way he actually did it.
Yeah, it was a pretty scrappy affair early in the first half. But both teams probably weren't playing their best footy, so we knew if we come out hard in the third quarter, dictated terms, then we'd be right in at the last quarter, so it was really good.
Dimmer spoke about belief and players not giving up, certainly showing.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of belief now within the group, and I think that was the message early on. You know, we've got faith in the boys in the middle to do their job back and forward, so we're uniting really well.
Did you realise the issues you had on the bench tonight? Because the rotations certainly were there for you.
Yeah, they were dropping like flies. I mean, I was sitting at full forward at one stage, so you know we're struggling if I'm doing that.
You didn't manage to kick a goal, though.
I didn't. I got close.
Thanks very much for your time. Well done, mate. Great win. Cheers, Colin.
What I think he's been able to do is build a back line. We saw Connors across there, led by Newman. Tuck's move to half-back has been quite superb. Delidio as well.
35 possessions for Connors. Who knows what Richmond can do in the next couple of months. Their last 8 games are all in Melbourne. Their next 5 are at the MCG. And they are on a roll. A 19-point win to the Tigers. 15-10-100 to 11-15-81. We'll be back to wrap it up.
The joys of victory. It's all over at Etihad Stadium, and the Tigers have done it again. 19 points, the final margin. A fierce struggle with the Dockers. 15-10-100 to 11-15-81. Jack Riewoldt again. 5 goals for the Tigers. Andrew Collins with 2. Pavlich and Bradley 3 apiece for the Fremantle Dockers. So we take a look at the stats, Jared. I just thought the Tigers, even though they were a couple down on their interchange, showed more run.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I think from half-time on, they brought out a new level of intensity, and the Dockers weren't able to match it with them. And the uncontested possessions, change of handball, kicking it to players out wide, I think was only matched by their intensity at the hard ball, and they won so much more of that late in the game that I thought Pavlich's shot at goal, or the attempt by Pavlich to weave some magic through, was indicative of their intensity. They had numbers at every contest. They just willed themselves across the line.
He's an amazing man, Jack Riewoldt, isn't he? We've seen him tear some games apart. I don't know that he necessarily did that tonight, but he found a way to kick 5 goals to help get the Tigers over the line again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Silvani did a pretty good job on him, but he had some moments of magic, Jack Riewoldt, but it wasn't a game I thought he absolutely dominated. He was out of position a lot, and they were kicking it to wrong options. But what I like about him, he's just such a hard worker. He's in at every contest, creates a spillage, chases hard. He's in the top 10 forward tacklers in the competition. You can't ask for more than a full forward than to work like a mongrel half-back flanker or back pocket. I mean, he just brings a hell of a lot of intensity to every contest.
He's got a wonderful confidence in the fact that every time he flies, he's going to end up with a football. And I think his teammates are starting to believe they've got a real gem up forward. There's going to be a lot of players licking their wounds after tonight's match. It was a fierce contest, plenty of body on body, some heavy collisions, and we'll have to wait and see what the toll is actually going to be.
Well, we saw Nathan go down here with a head clash, and he probably had lost consciousness for a split second or two. Then we got the head clash with Jake King. That's Jake's excuse of what he did in the last quarter. It rattled him up top a little bit, but King came back pretty well. There's a little bit of
White gets a split eye, celebrating a goal.
Yeah, and he came back on with blurred vision. I really like his work rate. I think he runs hard. He's not the best kick, but he does make up for it with a lot of intensity around the footy, and they really struggled. Graham also off with some busted ribs, so he'll be missing for a period of time, and he'll be hard to replace.
He certainly will be. Saw the Dockers have a couple of issues down at the interchange area, and it cost them a goal at a critical stage in that final term.
It did. When it was a major blue, This one wasn't the one that created the goal, but clearly no one knew what they were doing down there. And they were lucky probably to get only one infringement, and it was a costly one. Here it is. The ball gets taken away. It gets a 50-metre penalty. There's the orange flag for the infringement, and it just robbed them of all momentum in that last turn.
Yeah, they found ways just to continually shoot themselves in the foot tonight. The
Never seen anything like it.
We saw Matthew Pavlich early on trip over a ball in the goal square when all he had to do was pick it up and kick the goal, and from there it just went downhill, didn't it?
Well, you could name half a dozen players, really skilled players, like a Hazelby who burned himself as well. I mean, your butchery is taking on.
All about the Richmond Football Club. The black and yellow army is absolutely flying. The Tigers, they held sway.